Lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Chris Raunchy, Amy Mark Scores, The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, good morning, friends. Let's get this thing started, huh? What are we doing here? Let's do a show. Let's have a Monday. Let's have a week. 314-436-7900. Join the show. Call and text. Leave voice messages on the Odyssey app. And maybe you'll get to hear yourself. Do you hear yourself? Well, you can if you send a message on the Odyssey app, potentially. You can also watch the show at KMOX Sports, or KMOX Sports. That's later. That's Gas House Gang.
You are struggling this morning.
I've got a thing to tell you.
You guys are never going to believe it, so keep listening.
I know we're talking about that.
No. I thought that was the thing.
Follow the Chris and Amy Show by watching us. You could be on Twitter. We are at Chris Amy KMOX. You could see the show live. You could see it on YouTube and Facebook as well.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, the World Cup is over, and Spain has won for the second time in their history, defeating Leo Messi in Argentina, and Messi playing in his final World Cup, probably.
Allegedly, maybe.
Yes.
Guys, I got bad news. The Cyclospora outbreak is not from the Taylor Farms Taco Bell lettuce.
That's what they say.
The FDA is walking it back, which means they have no idea where it's from. And
we'll see.
Missouri has seen a 5-fold increase in the parasite.
So does that mean we have 5 because we were at 0?
We're like at 200 something.
Got it. Cardinals really blew it yesterday. Boy, that was a bad one.
Bad.
They were up 7-0, and they lost to the Diamondbacks. But their road trip continues. They are in Anaheim tonight. And, of course, it's a late one, so you're going to have to stay up. 9:10 is the first pitch tonight from Anaheim, California.
You know what I'm not doing? I'm not staying up if they're going to give up a 7-0 lead.
You're not staying up anyway.
No, I'm not, but especially not if you're going to just stay up to watch that.
Those West Coast games, like on a Monday, it's one thing you do it over a weekend, but when it's a Monday or a Tuesday and they're starting at 9:10, it's a little bit outrageous, don't you think?
I mean, some people work for a living,
I know. I mean, games are shorter, so it's not like you're settling in for a 4-hour game anymore. But still, you're doing 2.5 hours. That's a late one for a lot of people. We'll have the pregame show at 8:15. That means we've got a full sports open line at 6. We'll talk some Cardinals baseball at noon. Gas House Gang. Greg Amsinger will be with us. Mike Claiborne is going to be with us as well. And Nate Gatter will be with me on that show. But we're with you up until that point, 12 o'clock. And so, the World Cup is over. And I was already getting a little sad about it just because there was something really fun about when the group stages were going on, and there were like 5 games a day. Mm-hmm. They start while the show is on, get home, there's games on, then there's games all night. And then the next day it's the same thing.
I agree with you because whenever there is a big event like the Olympics, like March Madness, like the World Cup, you grow accustomed to having something to kind of look forward to,
you get
knowing
used to it.
That when you turn the TV on, there's going to be a meaningful game. And then when it ends, it feels like a void. I always get the post-Olympic blues. And this was such a fun World Cup. It really felt like a celebration, whether it was, even when the U.S. men's team was still in it, seeing all the social media posts of all the Europeans coming to the United States. And then also, once the U.S. men's team was no longer in it, I kept, picking your new loyalty. Like, well, now I'm cheering for Norway.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now I'm cheering for Spain. It's just fun, and you get used to it. And now there's a void.
Spain was so dominant. They gave up 1 goal the entire tournament. That was it. Just one.
At one point,
the entire tournament, they gave up 1 total goal.
How long was it before Argentina got its first shot on goal?
Did they get one?
I think they got one.
I don't think they got one. They did?
I think they got
2?
one. Was it an extra time, maybe?
Oh, maybe.
I thought they had 1. I can remember 1. But, and here's the thing. We were watching the game. Matt and I were watching the game. We were at the same party. MSK's.
Yeah,
Michael
congratulations.
Kelly. And I was like, this is a really boring game because it was boring, but also really good. It was a masterclass of defense. Spain was suffocating Argentina. And so, yes, by American standards, it was really boring, and I thought it was boring. But also, from soccer standards, if you just love the game, it was a masterclass.
Here's what I'll say about it, and it's somebody, I don't know who it was, but put it probably the best way I've heard it put, is you think it's boring because you don't know the nuance. Just like baseball, if you're being introduced to baseball, and I love it because I grew up playing it, it was my favorite sport growing up, Cardinals fan, they were good in the 80s, so it was exciting. But if you were just thrown into a baseball game like, here, go watch this, and you didn't know anything about the sport, you might think the same thing. This is boring.
Well,
all right,
no, here's why I would push it back.
He threw the ball to the catcher. Okay, nothing happened. All right, they're going to throw it back.
Here's where I would push back on that, where I get it, and I think that's true for a lot of people. Where it's not true for everybody is, I'm a hockey fan. I know the nuance of hockey. The neutral zone trap in the 90s, which the New Jersey Devils perfected, was boring because it shut down the other team's offense before they can even get started. And there's something fun about each team having shots on goal. And I know the nuance of hockey, and I love hockey. And the neutral zone trap was a boring style of play, even though I love hockey. Watching the game yesterday, it felt like Spain had instituted the neutral zone trap. And the reason why I say it's boring is when you go into a game like that, even though you want to see high-level soccer, which we saw, it would have been fun to have Messi at least get 1 or 2 shots on goal, right? It would have been fun to see Argentina get at least 1 or 2 opportunities.
Yeah,
but Spain was so good.
Yeah, they were just particularly, and Argentina was
good.
Particularly bad yesterday.
Yes.
So but that's not. I'm talking about the entire sport because there were some really great games.
Oh my gosh,
that happened.
Yeah.
So I think for the soccer is boring crowd, I don't want to hear it because we could say the exact same thing about all these other American sports that we know the nuance. Like we again, baseball, I think, is a perfect example. It's one of the most popular sports here. I think it's probably number 2 now. It's been fluctuating, but it's number 2 behind the NFL and college football, maybe 3, I guess. But I was sort of lumping football in together. I could see, and again, I'm a big baseball guy, but I could see being thrown into it and watching it for the first time going, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
This isn't fun. By the way, it was so Argentina had 2 shots. They had 0 on goal.
That's what it was. Yeah.
They had no shots on goal. So we were both right.
And like I said, kind of going back, I'm not yesterday's game because of the way Spain was so perfect in shutting down defense.
They're just good.
Even though it was boring in that sense, I do not think the third place game, which was like 6-4, that wasn't exciting to me because it just felt weird. It felt like bad soccer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying necessarily.
I didn't get that.
See, I don't necessarily think that the more goals, the more exciting. It was more of, I just wish Argentina had a couple of chances. Remember the blown Norway 2-on-1 when Norway didn't shoot it? Even a moment like that brings some excitement to the game. And Argentina just didn't get it. So
the halftime show, I don't know how popular it was. Just judging by social media, there wasn't a whole lot of... It didn't get a whole lot of praise. It was Shakira and Justin Bieber and the Muppets were up there for some reason. The Muppets are my Bono. Yeah. Animal is my Bono. What? Animal is my, just like, you know how like you love U2. Oh, okay. The Muppets are my U2. I see. I was like, I didn't know what you meant by that. Your Bono. But yeah, the Muppets were up there for some reason. The halftime show didn't seem to be very popular, and I don't think the Europeans liked it. They were like, what are we doing here? Because they don't do that in soccer. Chris Martin was in the background. They never even zoomed in on him. He was just there? Yes. You know when all the kids were singing? Yeah. And it was Rainbow, and I actually told Matt, I go, this feels like a Coldplay concert. And then Matt said, oh my gosh, there he is. Yeah. He was with all the kids. So soccer legend Wayne Rooney, who ended up playing in MLS for a while, but he was on BBC's broadcast after the halftime show was over and they were getting ready to start the second half, and he was not a fan. Well, actually, before we get back to the football, highlights from the 11-minute show. Shakira and Burna Boy. Ronaldinho and R9 driving out Madonna.
I'll be honest, man, was when it finished.
Enjoy it.
No, I like a lot of the artists, but I thought it was crap.
So miserable.
That's it, honestly.
Tell you what else you get on the BBC, honest review.
Okay, so if you didn't understand what Wayne
I
Rooney
didn't quite
said,
understand the first part.
he's like,
He
I'm
said
glad it was
Shakira.
over.
Okay.
Something like that. I'm glad it's over. And he said, I like a lot of the artists, but I thought it was crap.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Yep.
I thought that was really funny coming from a studio show, because I know it wasn't a BBC production or anything, but usually what you get from those shows is, oh, that was wonderful.
Yeah.
They're not particularly honest, but he was like, I thought it was crap.
So I do have a question, and I don't know how I feel about it because I just don't know. I can tell you what my initial reaction was, but here's my question. Was the Justin Bieber part, was that a really good part of the halftime show that changed up the tempo, or was it something of a downer? Because my initial reaction, just because you go from Madonna and the dancing to a very long acoustic Justin Bieber song and then back to Shakira, I felt like Justin Bieber brought it down where I'm like, man, if they don't switch up Justin Bieber, I'm actually getting tired. But I could be persuaded. I could be persuaded where you say, well, no, it was great because it really made Shakira pop that much more. I felt like it was kind of weird, and it was long. It was like almost the whole song.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the thought process was behind it.
I know.
I like Bieber too. I don't know.
Like I said, I could be persuaded. I don't care, and I don't feel strongly. The energy of Shakira was quite different than the energy of Justin Bieber.
What I think is fascinating about it is that because they were catering to an American audience pretty much the entire tournament, which is why I think why they had the hydration breaks. I know they could say, well, it's hot in the United States and, you know, these players aren't used to it being this hot and okay, fine, whatever. But I think it was just about getting the ad revenue. And we're used to the half having some breaks. So I think they did it for us. And I think the halftime show was for us, for a newer American audience. Like, we don't have to have a halftime show. We can. It's perfectly fine if that is just an NFL thing. I'm okay if we only do halftime shows for NFL games.
Some of my friends with kids, teens specifically, and then maybe like early college, said that their kids only came in for the halftime show.
See, that's why they do it. But I think the vast majority of people did not need it. Did not need it at all. But it happened.
Matt brought
We don't have to Americanize everything, you know?
We don't, but I also feel like the Super Bowl halftime show would have been super appropriate and popular for the World Cup. I feel like Bad Bunny and like his whole, bringing the world together and everything, that would have been a great World Cup halftime show. They could have just used the same thing.
I guess.
And Bad Bunny has the appeal.
Or just make it shorter. Just don't do it at all. Just get back to
Replace Justin Bieber with Bad Bunny, but keep the Muppets.
Well, the parasite is... it's still out there. It is rampant, and allegedly, we don't know where it came from, but I bet we do. I bet somebody put in a little phone call and said, it didn't come from our farm. The Taylor farm.
You think they have got connections?
They were at the White House on Thursday.
Wait, how did I miss this?
Yeah.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
The Taylor farm lettuce people were at the White House?
Apparently.
How did I miss this? We should have started the show with this.
We'll talk about that. We've got Attorney General Catherine Hanaway coming on, Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway. She'll talk to us about Amendment 5. She is in favor of it, and she is talking to us about it. So we will hear what she has to say. We will also have, and that's coming up at 9:30, we're going to have Petey the dog. Petey from City SC will be in studio with us at 10 o'clock. Can't wait to see Petey. Matt Pauley at 10:30, Andrew Egger at 11, and Richard Roper, who has seen and written about the Odyssey. He has also spoken to Christopher Nolan. We're going to talk to film critic Richard Roper at 11:30. It's all coming up on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Let's take a break.
Good idea.
Hey, Tom, what are you doing on that Amendment 4?
You know we fought for our freedom and rights. I'm not giving them away without a fight.
Ford takes them?
That's exactly what Ford does. For over 100 years, Missouri voters have used our constitutional power to act when the politicians refused. I'll be darned if I'm voting to pass on less freedom and power to my kids.
And doesn't Ford kill majority rule?
Yep, creates minority rule, where just 5% of statewide voters in one district can block any citizen-led reform, making it nearly impossible to pass citizen-led ballot measures.
That's just dumb.
And when the politicians refuse to act, we've used citizen-led ballot measures to pass some big stuff, like lobbyist reforms, term limits for career politicians, and outlawing tax hikes without voter approval.
I'm not surrendering my power and rights to a bunch of politicians and lobbyists. I'm no on Amendment 4.
Hard no on 4.
Pay 4 buttons or inch Procare governance.
Sometimes historic events suck. But what shouldn't suck is learning about history. I do that through storytelling. History That Doesn't Suck is a chart-topping history-telling podcast, chronicling the epic story of America, decade by decade, from the 18th century to the 20th. Original music and immersive sound design accompany us on our storytelling journey. Listen to and follow History That Doesn't Suck, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You take care of your dog out of love and responsibility. But what if every scoop that you're feeding them is slowly making them sicker? Not because you're a bad pet owner, but because the pet food industry never told you the truth. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon #1 best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. Dog food is dead food, stripped of every live nutrient that your dog needs. That's where Rough Greens comes in. Just sprinkle it on top of whatever you're already feeding them. It's packed with live probiotics, enzymes, omega oils, and over 20 live vitamins and minerals, all natural and made in the USA. Thousands of dog owners are watching their pets transform. More energy, shinier coat, better mobility, and your dog could be next. Take the Rough Greens 90-day challenge. Give us 90 days and we'll give you a healthier dog, guaranteed. Get a free Jumpstart trial bag for your dog today. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. Use discount code USA. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code USA. Rough Greens. So good, your dog will ask for it by name.
If you've been told that you need a new heating and cooling system for your home, and if you've gotten prices or you're going to get prices, call me. Try to stay away from the word high efficiency or efficiency. If you replace your system now and it's 12, 15, or 20 years old, you are greatly improving the efficiency just by replacing the old, inefficient unit. Do not be fooled. If you want a common sense approach and you just want your house cooled, I will help you. If you're good with that, call me. One easy number. It's Missouri and Illinois. The easiest of numbers. 314-293-2600, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
One city, one voice. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
So if you're at 0 cases and then you end up with 5, is that considered fivefold?
No,
a fivefold increase.
They weren't at 0.
No. We were at 0 up until last week, according to the numbers. But apparently, the state of Missouri does now have plenty of the poo-poo parasite,
which, by the way,
Cyclospora,
allegedly did not come from the Taco Bell lettuce supplier Taylor Farms, as the FDA walks back their claims that they had identified Taylor Farms as a source responsible for Cyclospora, but they said the original test was actually a false positive because they ran backup tests to double-check the lettuce sample and found that those tests did not have any traces of Cyclospora, which means that the FDA has no idea where it's coming from.
I just paint me skeptical on this one. I don't know that it was a false positive, but hey, I do know that Bruce Taylor he is the owner of the farm, was at the White House in the middle of the month. So last week he was there.
But was he there because he had to be? Because if you had a farm that was making people all over the country sick, you'd probably have to go talk to the FDA as well.
I don't know, but I think it's a little too convenient probably. But we'll see.
And
I don't
Taylor
know.
Farms,
we'll see.
remember
They supply a lot around the country.
And remember when we spoke to the lawyers who were representing the families that got sick in Missouri when that high school event was catered by a company.
That was Taylor Farms.
That was Taylor Farms
Right.
that supplied the catering
It was
company.
E. coli, wasn't it?
Probably.
Or was it norovirus? Whatever it
I don't
was,
know
it
what it
was it was something like that. But yes,
So now they don't know.
They say they don't know, but I do think that probably the purge that took place in the FDA, where there are thousands of employees who were laid off and thousands of employees laid off at the CDC, and then that FoodNet program they had where there were 8 different, I guess they call them pathogens, that they were tracking. And they went from 8 down to 2. And one of the 8 that they were tracking previously up until last year was Cyclospora. So they stopped doing that because of all the budget cuts. So you can pretty much guarantee that those cuts had something to do with us not really knowing right now where all of this is coming from.
So I've been careful, even though statistically the numbers are still very low, because even several hundred cases in a state with millions of people, your odds are pretty low that you're going to get sick. But I feel like it's a calculated risk. We're taking calculated risks when we decide what to eat and what not to eat. Like, for instance, I've had arugula. I know they've talked about salad greens and cilantro and prepared vegetables, but I don't know. I haven't really heard anything about arugula, so I'm eating arugula. I actually did not eat berries. I haven't been eating berries because berries are also a source of Cyclospora, even though I know, Amy, you're being ridiculous. It's an abundance of caution. So on Saturday, I was super hungry, had my long run, burning a lot of calories. I love to get like a giant burrito bowl or Mexican bowl, like a food.
You thought twice about it?
Well, I decided I was going to make my own. So I go to the store, obviously no lettuce, but rotisserie chicken and Mexican rice and black beans and tomatoes and sour cream and cheese and avocado and all this stuff. Get some pico, and I'm making my whole burrito bowl. And I took a couple bites of the pico, which was actually pretty spicy, and I put it all over my burrito bowl. And then I realized there's cilantro in pico.
Mm-hmm. And in the rice, too, depending on where you get it.
Yeah, true. I don't think there's cilantro. This is one of those microwave bags of rice. But, which also I believe cooking helps kill the parasite. It's really fresh cilantro, but cooking it helps. But at any rate, and I realized they said don't eat pre-cut vegetables, which pico is, and stay away from cilantro. And so I was like, and I grabbed my throat and I realized it's too late and I'm not going to make myself throw up because that's dramatic.
That's way dramatic.
I don't like throwing up. So I took my hand and I was like, do I throw away? Like, I feel like it would have been like $30 of food when you have to buy it all yourself. So I scooped up everything that the pico touched, so the cheese and the rotisserie chicken, and I was like in tears. I'm like, I'm throwing away all this stuff, but if I eat it, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. And then I could just feel it. I was like, oh my gosh, the pico's in my throat. I've got the black lung. Like, that's how I felt, and it was very dramatic for about 2 hours.
Yeah, it must be just an absolute nightmare to be in your head.
Do you know how exhausting it is?
I'm exhausted listening to that story.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, then why don't you keep it to yourself?
Because I thought I wanted to share. I thought this was a show. Also,
do you want me to share about my thing?
You talk for the next 3 hours.
You want me to?
Yeah, share. Do it.
Well, I'm a little drained right now because I thought maybe last night I had the poo-poo parasite.
Ron has it.
I don't have it.
a light case.
Oh, maybe I have a light case.
We've got a victim.
I got right now it is. Right now it's manifesting in the grumbles. I can feel it grumbling.
Do you feel like a victim or a patient? What do you want me to refer to you as?
I think I'm a victim.
He is a victim of cyclosporiasis, guys. He was texting us last night that it was not going well.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. It just kind of came out of nowhere, and I'm like, well, I guess as most of the time it does.
And you've had berries, you said.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I can't pinpoint it because the incubation period on this.
That's what makes this so tough.
It sucks, but I think I'm fine.
Did you go to Taco Bell?
I can't remember the last time.
Guys, he's not fine. He's not drinking coffee. He's drinking tea. And he had a banana, and he said, we'll see how it goes. Yeah. And he wasn't going to come to the studio today. And the only reason he did is because Petey the dog is coming.
Can't wait to see Petey the dog. That'll be at 10 o'clock, Petey from City SC, because Pups at the Park is coming up on August 28th. Before that, though, there's a very important vote that is happening August 4th. On the ballot is Amendment 5. There are a lot of opponents of this. There are some proponents, and we're going to talk to one of them, Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway, when we come back on KMOX.
Here's a World Soccer Championship recap.
Brought to you by Lowe's. Members get more at Lowe's. And by the first ever Infiniti QX65. The final between Spain and Argentina delivered a matchup between the top two teams in the world. Spain's strong defense that did not allow Argentina a single shot on goal to produce their 7th clean sheet of the tournament, along with their ability to dominate possession and a game-winning goal in extra time, is all La Roja needed to win 1-0 for their second World Championship. I'm Fernando Carlos.
Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
83 degrees, real field temperature 96, sunny and humid today, a high of 94. Also, air quality unhealthy. So if you are sensitive to air quality, be mindful of that. Tonight, partly cloudy, very humid, a low of 78. Weather sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today, now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Laterman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Laterman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Laterman Law Firm at LatermanLaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed. Your property taxed. Everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks scores with you, waiting to hear from Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway. So when we have her on the line, we will speak with her about the upcoming votes on Amendment 5, which would do away with the state's individual income tax. We've been talking about that quite a bit on the show. Also ask about Amendment 4, which makes the Missouri voter initiative more difficult because it would require a majority in all 8 congressional districts instead of just a straight up majority vote across the state, which actually doesn't sound like that big of a deal. It sounds like a small technicality, but effectively what it does, I mean, it gives minority power to like a very small percentage of Missouri voters, like 95% of the state could want something, and if 5% of the voters said no, well, then it's a moot point. So it effectively renders the Missouri initiative like pretty useless.
Seems like that would be really, just from a very simplistic way of looking at it. You could have one person who just, hey, bribe me. You know what I mean? You'd have one person who just wants to hold the whole thing up and demands all of these whatever just to get it done. Like, you want to pass this amendment? We're going to have to go through me, aren't you?
And Missouri has had this initiative and referendum power for a long time. I mean, it's one of 26 states that have some kind of initiative, referendum, or both. Yep. And Missouri is one of them where, if the state's legislature is not doing its job, then voters can organize and try to get something through. What's really interesting is that these citizen-led initiative petitions, I mean, they are not easy. The state, you have to really be passionate about it because you have to organize massive coalitions. It's going to cost you millions of dollars that you need to raise. You need to recruit and train thousands of volunteers. You have to knock on thousands of doors. You have to hire firms to collect and audit signatures and sometimes sue the state multiple times when state officials try to block this process, which is a constitutional right. So it's not like you can be flippant about these state initiatives and just voters are willy-nilly with them. I mean, it takes a lot of movement behind the cause to get a voter-led initiative through.
Yeah, and if the will of the people is something should happen, I think most of us would agree they should allow it to happen, right?
Yep. And but again, like I said, you can hear arguments on both sides, but we welcome in now the Missouri Attorney General, Catherine Hanaway, who joins us on the Quiver River Electric Guest Line. And thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Well, thanks so much for having me on. And I don't think I've ever been on with the two of you before. So really a pleasure.
Well, it's about time.
It is.
Thank you very much.
That's right.
We have been, we're told we're a delight. We were talking about Amendment 4, but let's switch on over to Amendment 5, which is also an issue that we've been talking a lot about on K. Had not heated, what would you call it, passionate discussions with John Hancock and Michael Kelly on our show talking about Amendment 5, which would eliminate over the course of several years the state individual income tax. What are your thoughts on Amendment 5?
So Amendment 5, and I've really thought about it because I'm kind of a skeptic by nature. And so I don't want to just give up any, rights I might have kind of to the legislature or anybody else. But to me, what Amendment 5 does is it eliminates the income tax so that we reward hard work. You can only make more income through hard work, and you can't affect your tax rate. So the harder you work, the more you pay in income taxes. On the other side of the equation, if we modernize our tax code and go to more of a sales tax-based system, you can control how much you spend. So to me, it's what do we want to encourage? Do we want to encourage hard work and success, or do we want to encourage spending? To me, that's a no-brainer. We want to be for hard work and success. So I'm going to be a yes vote for Amendment 5.
Why do you, as the Attorney General, feel like you wanted to speak out and endorse this amendment?
Because I really want whatever is best for Missouri. I care so passionately about the state, and maybe more as a parent than I do as even as Attorney General. I have 2 kids. One's 28, one's 23. One's living in New York City right now. One, thankfully, is here. I'd like to have them both here. I'd like to see all the next generations of everybody's kids and grandkids be here. But right now, the economic opportunity just isn't here in Missouri. We have stagnated in terms of growth, certainly in the St. Louis region, and we've got to do something to compete with states, particularly like Tennessee. Like, I remember Tennessee 30 years ago, and I know everybody will say, oh, they have country music. They didn't have any of that. I mean, they had the beginnings, like the roots of country music, but when they repealed their income tax, it made all the difference in the world. And now a number of other states have done it, and Missouri's still living with the tax code passed in 1931.
Attorney General Hanaway, I guess you could call me a persuadable voter in the sense that I do agree that getting rid of the income tax would save the average Missourian money, because I'm not going to outspend buy enough that I would, overcome the gap that was created by eliminating income tax. I'm not going to pay that much in sales tax. Basically, if I save $5 and spend $3, I'm still $2 up. I understand that side of things. At the same time, when I look at states that have eliminated income tax, we don't have the tourism of, say, Florida. We don't have the natural resources and tourism of like Alaska or Wyoming or some of these states that are very, very, very wealthy in tourism and natural resources. And I get concerned because I compare us more to Kansas, which eliminated state income and it didn't work out for them and they had to reinstitute it.
Well, I think the fair comparison certainly is Tennessee and where they have come from. But Kansas went into it all at once. And that's the thing that people should know, is that this is very gradual. It's only as we replace the income tax gradually that it goes away. And that's already been happening in Missouri. We just need to accelerate it. We've gone from a little over 6% in income tax to a little under 5% slowly. I don't know that anybody's felt that. And it's certainly not the kind of thing you can go market to employers that you want to attract to Missouri. Being able to say we don't have an income tax is a much bigger headline, or we're working towards zero income tax than, hey, we moved a point, right? And so I think that's what this is about, is the future. And instead of looking sort of backwards to us not having much tourism industry, there was a moment when Branson had the potential to become Nashville, but we missed it because we didn't have some of these tools in place. And we have many great tourism destinations here in Missouri, lots of natural resources, but we have to make our state more attractive to the kind of people who are going to come here and fully develop those resources.
You mentioned Nashville and Tennessee, and Nashville being a draw to that state. If I'm not mistaken, that income tax, that was only about 10, 12 years ago, correct, that they eliminated it? My understanding
you're
is
in the right range. Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm pretty sure, because I know a lot of people who started taking weekend trips to Nashville in like 2010. I mean, so it seems to me their tourism was starting to go up before any of that happened. So if I think about that in the context of Missouri, what, besides the natural resources which you mentioned, what do we as a state have to offer to people who are either tourists or really wanting to live here other than the income tax? Because I'm not convinced yet that would drive people here.
Yeah, we have the entire riverfront, which is undeveloped. We've got to get the developers to want to come here. And that's what repealing the income tax does. We have the Ozarks. We have incredible hiking trails and state parks, like beautiful, beautiful rivers to float. And all of that is underdeveloped because the people who want to make the investment don't want to live here and be taxed at the rate that we have it now. Even Missourians, as soon as they can, are living 6 months and a day somewhere outside Missouri to avoid our income tax. Like, it's a real problem. And it isn't just that it is an income tax. The whole code hasn't been modernized since 1931. Our economy looks so different today than it did then. We need to catch up. We need to be looking towards the future. And I will say one other thing. I've heard a lot of concerns from seniors about this, and that because, they are on a fixed income, yeah, but you're also going to be withdrawing from your IRA. And that is taxable income. I think seniors are actually going to save money under this plan.
Yeah, that was my question, because we do have listeners, right, who will text in, who are on that fixed income, and they're afraid that basically this is lost money for them if costs of goods and services go up with a sales tax.
Yeah, I mean, look, they may pay a little bit more in sales tax, but I think it will be more than offset by what they save in income tax. And they can control their spending. They can't control the income tax. And, kind of going back to my original point, don't we want to reward people for going out and working harder and making more money? And right now, we penalize them through the income tax.
What about seniors who don't have 401ks or don't have IRAs? Because I'm sure there are many out there who are just living on what Social Security brings in.
Well, even Social Security, as I understand it, and I'm not a tax law expert, but depending on the level of income, I think there is some chance they're even taxed on that. And so, the vast majority of people today don't have defined benefit pension plans in the way that they did in the past. So most people have some version of a 401k or an IRA or something to supplement Social Security.
I know we've talked a lot about increasing sales tax, but my understanding is Amendment 5 does not necessarily outline exactly how the state of Missouri is going to make up for the gap in funding. So how much leeway do legislators have, and what possible areas of taxation could we see increase?
So I think the greatest likelihood is that you're going to see increased taxes on services that, maybe haven't been taxed at all in the past, but you do, and this is super important. The governor, in outlining this plan, said taxes aren't going up on real estate and they aren't going up on health care. Really, really important. He will veto those measures if they come to his desk. And so the legislature then has to look at our broad economy and say, hey, where are the things where it's kind of been unfair that people haven't been paying for expensive, if you pay, a very expensive hairstylist or something like that, or somebody to do your makeup, like those are like luxury items you can make a choice about. And I've made that choice a couple of times, I'll admit. And there's no reason I shouldn't be paying taxes on those services. It's completely discretionary spending. And I think that that's where the legislature is going to be looking, is what are those items that are completely discretionary that people will have a choice about?
Yeah, I know there is some concern about that, or nervousness on the part of people, because we are basically then entrusting the legislature here to raise sales tax or taxes on all these other things, but only do it to a certain extent. And maybe that's the concern, is that we'll get deep into this and the state says, oh, we're not making enough money, so we're going to have to raise taxes even more. So you can understand that concern from people?
Absolutely, I can. And this is where the Court of Appeals didn't do the voters any favor. The Court of Appeals rewrote the ballot language, and they made it very unclear. But there is in this measure a requirement that if sales taxes go up, if it creates a windfall, particularly for local governments, they are required to reduce taxes, including property taxes. And that doesn't come through at all in the language of the ballot measure. And the other thing is the legislature could raise sales taxes today if they wanted to, and if they didn't think they were collecting enough money. I would much rather be making those choices in an environment where every dollar that comes in is going to offset my income tax until it's zero. And that's really what we're talking about, is if the legislature increases taxes, we're going to get a break on our income tax until it's down to zero.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway, we appreciate your time. We'd love to talk again soon, but thank you for being with us today.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Amy. Really pleasure to virtually meet you, and I'll look forward to it, too.
Thank you
Sounds
very
great.
much.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Thanks.
Catherine Hanaway joining us here, again, the Attorney General in the state of Missouri, replacing Andrew Bailey, who's now working for the federal government. That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. Did you see this is next?
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
The soundtrack of classic rock is coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater August 6th. Leonard Skinner and Foreigner joining forces for one epic night of legendary hits and unforgettable memories. It's the Double Trouble Double Vision Tour. From Sweet Home Alabama to Cold as Ice. Don't miss your chance to experience these two Rock and Roll Hall of Fame acts in one incredible show. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
In the Palm Beaches, we are truly in a league of our own, with an unbeatable collection of year-round sports on display. Take a swing at tennis or pickleball, or get a front row seat to polo, baseball, and everything in between. Then, find out why we're called Florida's golf capital, with more than 145 beautifully manicured sun-soaked courses perfect for pros and beginners. When it comes to sports destinations, there's no competition. Curate your vacation at thepalmbeaches.com.
When pain starts to slow you down, BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help. Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is Who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
In a county full of slick politicians, one man never got the memo. Jake Zimmerman. He may not be cool, but as county assessor, Zimmerman delivered. Here's Jake.
I stopped casinos taking money from our schools and cracked down on wealthy developers dodging taxes.
The St. Louis American called his office a model of respectful competence, and the Post-Dispatch just endorsed Zimmerman in his campaign for county executive for his pledge to take the drama out of county government. As county executive, he'll make life more affordable and stand up to MAGA's attacks on our rights.
I'm not flashy, but I get results, and I've got your back.
Then there's Brian Williams. Williams voted with MAGA Republicans to open the door to extreme abortion bans, and now MAGA is bankrolling Williams with $150,000 in donations. Brian Williams and MAGA can't be trusted. Jake Zimmerman is on our side. Paid for by Citizens for Jake Zimmerman. Jeannie Kirkton, Treasurer.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Well, the World Cup is over, and some of the numbers are in, and FIFA is expected to announce record World Cup revenue. They're expecting to announce $15 billion from this year's tournament, which tops their projected $11 billion. So they crushed it. Part of that comes from their decision to implement dynamic pricing, which I think made a lot of fans mad. I mean, did you see some of the cheapest tickets for the final were what, $14,000?
It was
$15,000 for the nosebleeds.
Yeah, so
that's not great. Bank of America's CEO estimated that the World Cup generated about $20 billion in economic activity across the United States, with restaurants and bars among the biggest winners, which is good because we were talking about how FIFA takes so much of the profit and then puts the security and all of that on the city. But restaurants and bars were big winners. Beer sales spiked 4% nationally during the first 4 weeks of the World Cup. And in host cities, beer sales jumped 14%. Brands spent at least $857 million during the games alone, and more than $1.2 billion was traded on Kalshi just on the question alone of who would win the World Cup. So not all the other bets, just who would win the World Cup. They had $1.2 billion bet, or I should say traded on that, and also 3 million people tried Kalshi for the first time. That's a lot of new customers.
It is. Do we know how Kansas City ended up doing in terms of the monetary impact? Because for a while, if you remember, in the first week or so, a lot of businesses were reporting they were seeing no extra foot traffic.
What? Let's get Quentin Lucas on.
We should get the mayor on.
Let's get the mayor of Kansas City, Quentin Lucas, on and just ask him, how was it? How are businesses? How are Kansas City residents feeling? How do you guys feel about it? Would you do it again?
I'd love to know.
Matt,
because
get on that.
Yeah, Matt, call him right now. When we come back, we expect to have a conversation with Petey.
Do we?
Yeah.
How's he going to do that?
Well, we're gonna talk to him, and he will just look around the room.
Any harder talking to Petey than it was talking to Fred Bird on the air.
That's
that was
right.
Tough.
And Louie came in here.
Yeah.
Petey the dog. He is with City SC. Pups at the Park is coming up at the end of August, the 28th to be exact. And we will talk to City SC when we come back. And Petey's going to be in studio on KMOX.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits. all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
For state senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering knows what a hard day's work looks like because he's done it his whole life.
I like Mike. He's a dad. He knows what our families are up against.
Mike Deering's a businessman. He knows what red tape actually costs.
I like Mike because Mike Deering stands with President Trump. Secure the border, cut our taxes, put Missouri first.
I'm Mike Deering. Career politicians spend more and tax more while your family gets squeezed. I'll lower your taxes, keep your money in your pockets, and cut government waste so deep it'll make the politicians squeal.
Mike Deering, farmer, small business owner, dad, conservative. I like Mike.
I like Mike.
I like Mike. For state senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering. On Tuesday, August 4th, vote Republican Mike Deering for state senate.
Make common sense conservative leadership common again.
Paid for by friends of Mike Deering. Megan Kaiser, treasurer.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 10 o'clock, and we have plenty of sunshine in downtown St. Louis, 82 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey. The Pentagon identifying 2 soldiers killed in Friday's Iranian attack on a U.S. base in Jordan, among them 19-year-old Private Isabella Gonzalez of Texas and 25-year-old First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan of Hawaii. A third service member remains missing following the attack, but is believed to have died as well. ABC News Chief Global Affairs anchor Martha Raddatz is in Amman, Jordan.
Online appearing to show projectiles falling over the base, some intercepted, but others making a direct hit. Sources telling us one of those strikes hit a housing containment unit, raising questions among some military experts about Iran's capabilities, despite the administration saying the Iranian military was decimated.
The latest attacks again show the U.S. and Iran inching closer to all-out war, and shipping traffic in the Strait of Hormuz largely stalled. Benchmark Brent crude Monday rose $90 above $90 a barrel, further fueling a global energy crisis sparked by this conflict. A woman is dead following a fatal pedestrian accident on Gravois. The victim is believed to have been in her 30s, hit by a car in the 2700 block of Gravois near Ohio about 2:40 in the morning on Saturday. Police believe the woman was crossing Gravois in the middle of the block instead of using a crosswalk. She later died at a hospital. Gravois is the most dangerous road for pedestrians in the city. Later this year, all intoxicating hemp products will be pulled off the shelves in Missouri under a law the governor signed earlier this year, but not if a group of hemp businesses have their way. They filed a federal lawsuit to stop the statewide ban, calling the definitions in the law of the difference between hemp and marijuana unconstitutionally vague. Craig Katz tells the Business Journal it's difficult to understand, and the people legislating it don't understand it. Katz is with St. Louis-based MNG 2005, which is the parent company for CBD Kratom stores. The Attorney General has also been going after Kratom. A new study about coffee and heart health out today from the American Heart Association. Researchers saying that for most healthy adults, up to 400 milligrams of caffeine a day, about 3 to 5 8-ounce cups of black coffee is generally considered safe. But ABC's Stephanie Ramos says researchers also say sugary syrups, heavy cream, and other add-ins may chip away at some of coffee's potential health benefits.
High doses of caffeine, especially from energy drinks and energy shots, have been linked to higher blood pressure and abnormal heart rhythms.
The Del Mar Loop has been adding many Asian eateries lately, and this fall, a new cafe specializing in matcha drinks opens. Junbi Matcha and Tea will open in the former Rocket Fizz Soda Pop and Candy Shop location. Owner Tony Tron says he and his wife Jessica want to make matcha approachable, fun, and inviting. They've been doing pop-up events around the region. Matcha is a finely ground powder made from green tea leaves.
Sun and some clouds, hot and humid this afternoon. A thunderstorm can't be ruled out, high 95. Remaining warm and very humid, low 79 tonight. A morning thunderstorm tomorrow. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now it's 82 degrees, and the weather is from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Honey, I found the one.
Oh, I thought I was the one.
Oh, you are, but this one's certified, background check, shows up on time, and can install all the ceiling fans.
Heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. Trusted pros who do it right.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
On Friday, August 28th, it is Pups at the Park at Energizer Park, and City SC 2 will be taking on North Texas on that day. And so we've got with us in studio here today Petey the dog, who is the mascot over for City SC, and Ken Early, who is City SC's Director of Community Relations and also in charge of Petey. Are you technically Petey's dad?
Petey's handler, technically.
Handler?
But,
does anybody get to call Petey theirs?
He's the club's dog. He does live in my
dog.
house, though.
He
so
does
you're
live
kind
at your
of
house.
his dad.
Yeah.
You're his roommate?
Maybe, yeah, like work roommate.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Does he get to go wherever he wants in the house? Do you have rules for him?
He goes wherever he wants. House, office, they're both his.
Whatever he wants to do, huh?
Does Petey get to go in the clubhouse?
Yeah. He's been in locker room, all the things. People love him, players included.
Petey's the best.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've got, I was actually just bringing this up because as Ranj said, so a limited number of tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. for Pups at the Park. And my first thought was, wait, is it sold out already? Well, no, the tickets go on sale tomorrow. But the last time we talked about Pups on the Park, I mean, this thing does sell out really quickly.
Super quick, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're listening, you need to set an alarm on your phone for 9:59 a.m. tomorrow.
Definitely. Maybe 9:58.
9:58, yeah, depending on how handy you are, how quick you are with the phone.
So what happens at Pups at the Park? Obviously, a lot of dogs.
Yeah, a lot of dogs, obviously. So Petey's always there, but this is your chance to bring your own pets, which is super fun. It's $25 for you and one pet, and you'll get to watch the game. We'll have bandanas for dogs, custom dog tags, of course, treats from Purina, and it'll be a blast.
What happens? Do you get to be on the field with the dogs? What?
So not on the fields,
Okay.
but you get to be in the stands with your pet, and then you can watch the game.
I don't know if there was like a pregame parade kind of thing, or
no,
if there's anything like that. Okay.
No, Ranj, why would you ask that?
No, we do Pups on the pitch whenever we replace the pitch.
Oh,
but
that's okay. That's
this
different.
is just Pups in the
Because I know
park.
at ballparks at Busch Stadium, I think they do it too. There's always a dog parade or something. But
When is Pups on the pitch?
Pups on the pitch, TBD. It's usually when we replace the field.
How often do you guys replace the field?
I think it's every 18 months or so, yeah.
Wow. Okay. That is good information to have. So Pups at the Park, though, is it in a specific section?
Yeah, so we'll have a section just for the pets so everybody can stretch out and they'll have their own space. But there'll be a ton of pets there, and so they'll be walking around the whole stadium, which will be awesome.
You know how they say there's no such thing as like a bad dog, just bad owners? What do you do if there's a bad owner?
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't have, good discipline.
Yeah.
socialization skills.
I mean, it is an awesome opportunity to socialize your dog. You do
Yeah.
have to submit your vaccine thing so everybody's safe and good. But yeah, we'll have staff walking around making sure everybody's,
Yeah.
A-okay and safe.
Have you ever had to like kick out a Chihuahua for just being a disturber of the peace?
Not yet,
Okay.
but hopefully not. Knock on wood.
Have you ever had to kick out a dog?
No.
Okay, that's good.
No.
Like, are there aren't requirements for breeds or any sort of limitations or anything like that?
No. Yeah. Good to go. If they're a dog, 3 legs, 4 legs, doesn't really even matter. If they're a dog, they're welcome.
Is it encouraged for the dog to like wear a jersey?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a pet jersey. You can grab it at City Pavilion, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, wear your kits. Have fun. It's an awesome opportunity to be at Energizer Park.
You know, I was in Forest Park on Saturday, and a woman was walking her dog who I think was getting ready for a photo shoot because the dog had cotton candy pink and blue fur or hair. You know, like how you can have a special dog dye. Maybe you should do that for City. They could wear, is there, a City red on your dog? You could spray paint.
I love that.
Dog-friendly paint like this lady did.
We should do that.
That sounds fun.
You never painted Petey?
No, Petey's never been painted, but maybe this is the chance. I don't know.
About it? Tickets will be again on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m., so 24 hours from now.
Yep.
At stlcitysc.com/pups. That is stlcitysc.com/pups. So tell us how Petey's doing. We see him. He's beautiful. But how's he doing?
He's doing fantastic. He's exploring the office right now. But yeah, Petey's amazing. He just turned 3 a couple weeks ago, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
We had a little celebration for him in the office. But yeah, you can find him in our office, in the locker room, in the training facility, at the stadium, all over the place. He's a busy dog, of course. But yeah, he's great.
So he can legally drink now in dog years, right? If he's 3, that's 21 in
it's
dog
21.
years.
Yeah.
So Petey is in a partnership with Purina,
Yes,
correct?
of
But
course.
different than the duo dogs,
Right.
Which were like service dogs, because you had Checkers for a while.
Yeah, so Checkers was in the first kind of batch of dogs, and then we were working with Duo Dogs then, and now this PD is through Champ Assistance Dogs, which
Okay.
is a similar organization. They both raise amazing service animals. But yeah, there's so many things to make sure that we find the right dogs. That's not just any dog can be the perfect dog, whether that's for us as a facility dog or for people with disabilities or other needs. So it's really about matching them. So we found PD our perfect match with Champ Assistance Dogs.
Now, will Petey go on to work with someone, or is Petey like, no, Petey is with City?
Yeah, this
Forever.
is his job. Yeah, this is his
Wow.
placement. So he got a fun job. They're all fun jobs.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
he just gets to do a lot more sports stuff.
Yeah, he's very sports oriented.
What is
Yeah.
Petey's day-to-day like?
Yeah, Petey's day-to-day, a lot of naps usually in my office,
Yeah.
a lot of snacks in between. But yeah, he comes to meetings with me. We go to Children's Hospital for hospital visits, go visit the players. It's really out and about all over town.
Are there any of the players that are specifically drawn to Petey?
I'd say Edu and Celio are probably his favorites, and I
Yeah.
think vice versa. But yeah, he's always very excited to, get a big hug from Edu.
So this is a serious thing, and nobody listens to me, so it hasn't gotten any traction. But the newsroom, we take in a lot of information, and the newsroom takes in a lot of news, and a lot of the news is really, really bad.
Yeah.
Even like locally, like there were some pretty rough stories this morning.
Yeah.
And that's the tip of the iceberg, because you only have so much time. So you know that all of the reporters, all of the news people are absorbing a lot of really negative information. I think we need a newsroom dog, because it's been proven that like having a dog, in areas where like maybe, like you said, obviously helping kids who are sick or helping veterans with PTSD, but I also think it would help a newsroom with mental wellness.
For sure. Yeah, I fully support it.
So
let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's talk to Purina, because we could partner with Purina. But I know I'm like I'm laughing
know
because
now
I
that
want
you're
a dog. But don't you think that that's a real thing? It gets
Yeah.
it's really sad in newsrooms sometimes because of all that information.
So now you have just imposed a major commitment onto the newsroom.
Here's what I know: Maria
nice-
Kina would do it.
Okay.
Maria Kino will take care of
Or
that dog.
what if Ken just comes by once a day and brings Petey for an hour?
What if Ken moves his office to our newsroom?
What if you just worked out
now
of here,
we're
Ken?
talking.
That's a possibility. I mean, we're not that far away.
We could
if
have-
we had like a zip line or something, that'd
That's
be great.
right. You have we're 2 blocks.
Yeah.
We could have Petey's second home
So
in here.
either you can work here with Petey, or we can move our newsroom to Energizer Park.
That's true. We got space. I think we could do it.
Did you just walk here with Petey, or do you have
it's like a
Petey
mile,
transportation?
We have PD transportation. If it weren't 90 some odd degrees outside,
Yeah.
that would have been a nice walk, but it is a little steamy.
So how much exercise does Petey need?
I mean, PD loves the couch, but we play a lot of ball. Fetch is by far his favorite activity other than eating breakfast and dinner. So yeah, lots of walks around Tiger Grove Park, lots of walks around Energizer Park, of course. But yeah, a good amount.
Now, is Petey have a future of like meeting a lady and falling in love, or is Petey probably not going to have any kids?
PD is not going to have any kids.
Okay.
Does he know that?
I mean, I don't know if he knows that.
Well, he knows now. You're talking about it in front of him.
But yeah, working dogs for the vast majority, especially assistance dogs, are
that makes sense.
are neutered. Which, yeah, I mean, a portion of the proceeds will go to the Carroll House Quick Fix Pet Clinic to spay and neuter pets. So yeah. There's a plug for that.
How I know that that was Bob Barker's thing,
Yep.
right? You always have
Happy
to
Days,
remind
neuter.
people at the end of the show to do that. How important is it that people actually do that?
Yeah, it's super important. I mean, I think, we've all experienced stray dogs and we want dogs to all have a home. But making sure that pets are spayed and neutered means that we can, have a better eye on the population of dogs so that we can make sure that every dog, every cat has a home.
All right, so Pups at the Park. Again, tickets go on sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. And Pups at the Park, presented by Purina, takes place on Friday, August 28th. Last year, it sold out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
How many pups is that then? How many pups is a sellout?
That's a good question. I don't know how many pups does this sell out. 300 or something around there.
Okay.
That's
but
a
yeah,
lot of pups.
It's a lot of pups.
Well, okay, so then a lot of people have multiple dogs. Like
Yep.
I think Julie Tristan down the hall has 18 dogs.
Wow.
Okay,
Probably.
well, she has to buy 18 tickets.
Yeah, how
then.
does that
18
work?
tickets.
Do you pick one dog per person?
One dog per person. So
Okay.
the package is $25 for one dog, one human. And if you want human tickets, they're $15. But yeah, you can keep buying tickets and bring dogs. I think there's a 2 per account limit, just so if Julie doesn't, take 18 tickets, we want to spread the love a little bit.
For the love a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, she can't bring all of her animals with her.
We got to watch out for Julie Tristan.
Does Petey bark much?
Petey doesn't bark much. He's not a big barker.
That's so. If the doorbell rings,
Yeah.
somebody knocks. What's the thing that gets him going?
I mean, the doorbell is usually like if he's asleep and the doorbell rings, he'll jerk around
Jostle.
a little bit, and he's like, "I've heard something. I need to alert." But yeah, he's not a big barker, honestly.
So Petey's under the desk, under our table right now.
Mm-hmm.
So for people who can't see him, what breed is Petey and how much does he weigh?
Yeah, Petey is a yellow English lab, and he is 75 pounds on the nose.
He's a big boy.
He is a big boy.
Oh,
He's adorable.
He's very.
He's got an adorable face.
he did.
He's visiting.
Oh, now he's over
Yeah.
by you?
Yeah. Well played. Well played.
Oh, come on. Now he just
I
wants to
felt
explore the room.
the wet
Yeah.
nose on my knee.
Exactly.
Oh, Petey. Well, you know what it was? Last time Petey was here, he sat by me over here.
Yeah.
And now he's over there by you, and I feel
It's
jealous.
because he's a true professional.
Yeah.
And Petey knows, like, okay, well, last
He
time
has
I
to
was
give
with
you some
Runge,
love.
and now I got to
That's
spend
right.
some time with Amy.
He's making
But
his
he
rounds.
is really, really handsome boy.
He is a very,
Yeah.
he's a very, very good boy. Well, we're glad to see Petey, and we know that Pups at
Found
the
the
Park
trash
is going to be.
can.
Oh, okay.
Petey.
Well, there's a trash can over here too, so stay out of the trash, Petey.
Yeah. He does love
No.
the trash.
No.
No, don't say no to him.
Well,
He
if you say
didn't
no,
do-
he's going to get in the trash.
he didn't do anything wrong. Now you're confusing him.
Does that dog look confused? He's ready for a nap. That's all he's thinking is like, when can we go lay down? Petey is adorable. Petey is the best. City SC's dog, the mascot there. Ken Early, City SC's Director of Community Relations with us. And again, if you want to go, you better get your tickets
Yep.
quickly. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., they go on sale. STLCitySC.com/pups. Ken, good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Petey, good to see you. Good boy.
I'm going to get my picture with Petey now. You
Okay.
you say goodbye. Throw it to commercial. I got to get a picture.
Bye-bye now.
Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I'm Matt Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. I've had the privilege of seeing miracles, broken families rebuilt, every crash, every workplace injury, every medical mistake. Fighting back can work. We've gone toe-to-toe with insurance giants, and we've won a lot. Over $30 billion recovered. Size matters. Reputation matters. Results matter. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business? Ah.
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5, paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
Love your low mortgage rate but need extra cash? Don't refinance. Get a Scott Credit Union home equity line of credit for home renovations or debt consolidation. Learn more at scu.org. Rates vary. Terms and conditions apply.
Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Text messages into the show at 314-436-7900. And one texter says, you guys can't even take care of a tree. Don't even think about a dog. That is true. However, the tree has been picked up. My uncle came with the truck.
What?
And got the weed.
No, Millie.
Millie has now been planted.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Millie's been planted.
In your mom's yard?
It's
Yeah, your uncle's yard.
I can't tell you.
Come on.
It is currently in Illinois.
You planted it someplace safe, though, right?
It's safe. So,
Millie, don't con me.
Millie, the Millennium Hotel weed is now in soil.
Why are you not saying whose soil she's in?
Because passersby. I don't want it to become a tourist attraction.
Your family member lives on that big of a thoroughfare?
I mean, sort of. But
nobody knows where your uncle lives. Nobody knows
I'll
who
just
your
say
uncle
this.
is.
Don't come trying to because there are weapons involved.
No, don't say that. There's not weapons involved.
Millie has armed guards. But Millie is safe. We'll see how she does. Hopefully, now that she is planted in soil.
Did you tell the garden hotline?
I didn't tell the garden hotline.
You need to take a picture.
Well, Michelle comes in here. She snoops in her office anyway. I'm sure that she noticed that the plant was gone.
Yeah, but she doesn't know where. For all you know, you could have thrown it out the window.
I didn't throw it out the window. It is safe and sound. We'll see how it does.
See, ladies and
gentlemen,
see how
it does.
When I meet you guys, out and about, you're like, what is Ron really like? What does he do? I don't know because he doesn't tell me.
I just told you
anything.
Millie is safe.
If all of you listening right now are upset because you don't know where Millie is, that's how I feel. Everything I know about Ron, I learn on air.
That's right. And speaking of that,
this is so frustrating.
There was a texter who is upset and annoyed or feels bad for Petey that Petey had to find out on air that he was not going to get to father any pups.
I know. That's so embarrassing for him.
I know. That's why he came out from under the table. So, in case you're just joining us, Petey, the City SC mascot, the official mascot, was here in studio because Pups at the Park is coming up in August on the 28th. And the tickets are going on sale tomorrow for that. But we asked if Petey was ever going to be a dad. And we were informed that no, he's not.
He's not. But I don't know if he knew that.
Well, he found out like this. And the texter is right. This is a hell of a way to find out.
I know. It's like finding out that you got fired in a group email. Like an email to the whole company. Chris Ranji is no longer with
You're like,
us.
Whoa. What do you mean?
Wait.
What do you mean? What are you saying here?
Yeah.
I don't get to do the thing?
Right.
Sorry, Petey.
618. This is now referring to the Millennium Hotel. Weed, Millie. 618 says Millie went to his uncle's, quote, farm to live a happy life. Tell me that's not true. Millie did not go to a farm in the sky.
No. Millie's not at a farm in the sky. No. Millie is in the ground. Not dead. Planted.
6 feet below.
Millie is 6 feet under. No, Millie is planted in soil and has a much... It's a freer home.
How far of a drive is it from this studio to Millie?
20-ish minutes.
In Illinois?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it a relative of yours?
It is. Millie is safe. Stop worrying.
Well,
I'm
because
telling you,
your elusiveness, this is like when Sam Page, the St. Louis County executive, not for long, kept saying like, no, when I work at the hospital, I promise it's not too much. I'm like, oh, that's great. How many hours are you working? And he just won't tell anybody, which makes it feel now you look suspicious. Like if he just said, yeah, I worked 6 hours a month. Everyone's like, oh, that's cool, Dr. Sam Page. Glad you did that. Thanks for telling us. But because he won't tell anybody how many hours he worked at the hospital, I'm thinking worst case scenario. That's how I feel about Millie right now.
So I'm pulling a Jay Clayton.
Yes.
I'm pulling a Jay Clayton. I'm pulling everybody who is put before Congress to testify about 2020. Like,
in other news.
Yeah.
We were talking about how bad the air quality was in Chicago several days ago.
Yep.
And in Toledo, Ohio, where, because of the Canadian and Minnesotan wildfires, it had the worst air quality of any city in the world, which is just wild. It was like 800. And Chicago was at 600 and something, and people were wearing masks and being, saying, hey, you should probably stay inside. It's hazardous. Well, some of that wildfire smoke has shifted down to the city of St. Louis. They said it would be hitting us. It's weird. Once I got downtown, the arch didn't really look hazy up close, but driving in from 40 West, like driving east on 40, the downtown skyline was super, super hazy. Like the arch was blurry, and we're at 150, which again may not mean anything, but as far as air quality, which is unhealthy for sensitive groups. And the main pollutant would be from that wildfire smoke.
Currently, we are unhealthy for sensitive groups, but if you go across the river over into like Glen Carbon, Edwardsville, Alton, Highland, it is just flat out unhealthy.
Yeah.
So it's not
let me pull that up, the number, because when I was in Colorado a couple of weeks ago, I was inside by noon because the air quality was so unhealthy that I especially didn't want to go for a run, because if you're breathing heavily and you're breathing those particles deep into your lungs, they're so small, but they're big enough that they're dangerous that they can actually get into your bloodstream. It's really bad for you.
Yeah. So I can imagine that here on the St. Louis side, it will end up worsening over the coming hours and probably into tomorrow. Don't know how long it's going to hang around, but it's here. And it's not great. And again, I just saw a news story about this. Was it last night? I think it was last night. about how this is like happening more frequently. It is, because I know we had this conversation last week that I don't recall us ever talking so much about, or people talking so much about air quality from Canadian wildfires.
Yeah.
This is like a new thing over the last few years.
And I believe that two things can be true, meaning that, yes, there can be climate change and we're affecting the climate, but also that certain things are natural and happen in cycles, right? Like wildfires. And what's really interesting, talking to people in both the Sierra Nevadas and in Colorado and the Rockies, they said, it's interesting because forests need wildfires. And one problem is that we started building homes and neighborhoods in areas where there are wildfires.
That doesn't explain the air quality problem, that it ends up affecting us all the way down here.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I was just saying kind of like mixed feelings towards wildfires, because wildfires are healthy for a forest, but then also if we're not doing our job, like clearing and thinning the forests, then the wildfires get worse than they otherwise would have been.
Yeah. Or
if we have power lines. So while wildfires aren't like always the worst thing, it's just, it can affect us differently.
I think the problem is the scale of what's happening. This isn't like a controlled, typical wildfire. And these are growing out of control, and they're happening far more frequently. We did this last year, too.
I will say this. This is why, and yet another reason why we really, really, really can't cut the funding to the Forestry Service or the conservation or the parks. I will march for the parks. If you touch the parks and the Forestry Service, baby, it's on. Right?
You're not going to do anything.
Well, I can be upset.
You're going to complain and moan. That's what you'll do.
You know what? Squeaky wheel.
This texter says, before we get to break here, that Millie has been taken to an unsafe environment. No, Millie has armed guards, is what I'm saying. Millie is not in danger.
Outside in bad air quality. Did you specifically wait till the air quality was bad?
Is that what they're talking about?
I don't know if that's what they're trying to talk about.
Yeah,
but
I think that's it.
You literally said, let's wait until the air quality falls apart.
Yeah, well, Millie's in the ground where she needs to be.
All right. Well, Rottler needs to be at your house, probably, because it is summer, and that's when stinging insects come out. That's when you'll start to notice them. That's when perhaps you'll see moles burrow tunnels throughout your yard, ruining all the hard work that you've spent. Maybe you put down sod, at the very least fertilizer, and you cut your lawn, and you're thinking, oh, this is great. We've had all this rain. My yard looks great. And then the landscaping gets torn up, and your lawn gets torn up. Call Rottler. First of all, they've been serving the St. Louis area for 70 years. They're the largest family-owned pest control company in Missouri. They're still locally owned and operated. They have deep community roots. And when you call them, a human picks up the phone. And so you'll be able to talk to a real person, and then you can get same day or next day service. And that inspection, if you call them and say, hey, can you just come out to my house? That first inspection is free. And then they'll tailor the services to what you need. It could be ants if you're dealing with an ant infestation. It could be moles. It could be, like I said, stinging insects. Or maybe you just want to get rid of the mosquitoes in the backyard because it's ruining your party. Rottler can take care of you. Call them today. Just visit Rottler.com, Rottler.com.
Here's a World Soccer Championship recap.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. It was a star-studded affair to see what could be Messi's final game on the world stage for Argentina. In the end, the stars aligned in Spain's favor. A strong defense and equally strong possession gave La Roja their second world championship. The game went to an extra 30 minutes, but Argentina was forced to play it with 10 men. In the end, a Ferran Torres game winner sealed the match 1-0. I'm Fernando Carlos.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Let's take a break.
Good idea.
Hey, Tom, what are you doing on that Amendment 4?
You know we fought for our freedom and rights. I'm not giving them away without a fight.
4 takes them?
That's exactly what 4 does. For over 100 years, Missouri voters have used our constitutional power to act when the politicians refused. I'll be darned if I'm voting to pass on less freedom and power to my kids.
And doesn't 4 kill majority rule?
Yep, creates minority rule, where just 5% of statewide voters in one district can block any citizen-led reform, making it nearly impossible to pass citizen-led ballot measures.
That's just dumb.
And when the politicians refuse to act, we've used citizen-led ballot measures to pass some big stuff, like lobbyist reforms, term limits for career politicians, and outlawing tax hikes without voter approval.
I'm not surrendering my power and rights to a bunch of politicians and lobbyists. I've no on Amendment 4.
Hard no on 4.
Pay 4 buttons or inch, prepare governance.
What if your bathroom felt less like a routine and more like a daily escape? Glover here from my friends at Michael's Baths. They can transform ordinary bathrooms into beautiful, comfortable spaces for homeowners across St. Louis and all the surrounding areas. And now they're introducing new premium walls, perfect for those who love the look of stone without the upkeep. It's sleek, durable, and designed to elevate your space. For a limited time, enjoy a free rain shower head or upgrade with safety features like grab bars or a built-in seat. Call us at 636-775-0800 or michaelsbaths.com.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
85 degrees, real feel temperature 102. Hey, like we were saying, air quality right now is unhealthy. So if you are sensitive, have asthma, breathing issues, be careful out there. Maybe don't spend too much time outside. A high today of 94. Tonight, very humid. A low of 78. Weather sponsored by Steve Butts and the entire Crawford Butts family. As America celebrates its 250th anniversary, Steve Butts and everyone at Crawford Butts Insurance, who have been proudly serving the community for generations, they wish everyone a safe and joyful summer.
When pain starts to slow you down, BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help. Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
We are truly in a league of our own, with an unbeatable collection of year-round sports on display. Take a swing at tennis or pickleball, or get a front row seat to polo, baseball, and everything in between. Then, find out why we're called Florida's golf capital, with more than 145 beautifully manicured sun-soaked courses perfect for pros and beginners. When it comes to sports destinations, there's no competition. Curate your vacation at thepalmbeaches.com.
Today, the Cards, the Angels.
Cameron Total Access 8:15. First pitch 9:10.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
What will he do here? 2-2. Here comes the pitch. And it's hit hard to right field. Backing up is Nootbaar. And it's over his head. And the winning run is going to score. Nootbaar couldn't make the play. And scoring from second is Barossa. And Arizona wins it 8-7.
Well, I don't know what just happened there, but there's a... Here we go. Yeah. Yo, Paulie! We gonna do all that or no?
No.
I'm too sick.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
No, forget it. We're not doing it today.
This isn't... You know what? You know
Not
what's
doing it.
horrible is that the World Cup ended.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cardinals gave up a 7-run lead. Like, now what? Now what do we have to look forward to? A 10 p.m. first pitch?
Time to go to the Quiver River Electric guest line, and we welcome in the host of Sports Open Line, Redbird Rush Hour, Cardinals pre- and post-game. Matt Pauley is with us after the Cardinals yesterday were well on their way to a series victory in Arizona. And if you turned off the game after the top of the 6th inning, you probably woke up today startled because they ended up losing that game in extra innings. They were up 7-0. Matt Pauley, what the hell?
That was a bad loss. Really bad. A
Really
lot
bad.
of bad things happened in that game. That's one of the 3 or 4 worst losses of the year. And, when it happens, we got a bunch of messages on the post-game show yesterday. Oh, that's the worst loss of the year. It might be, it might not be, but it's in the conversation. I don't think it's real fruitful for us to try to figure out exactly which loss is the worst loss of the year, but it was a bad one for sure.
Yeah, so it started to fall apart a little bit. In the bottom of the 6th inning, Palante gave up those 3 runs in that inning. Well, he was charged with 3, and that's where it gets away, right? So that's somebody who had been pitching well, and I would still say that that's an okay start. That's one you should win, especially when you're up 7 runs by the time he starts to give up all of that. So I know it's games like that are going to happen, but when you see it happen and we are on the back half of the season and wins are going to start to be a premium if you're trying to be a playoff team, when something like that happens, I mean, what's your feeling on it?
Yeah, look, both things are true. Things like that do happen over 162 games, and really the Cardinals haven't had that many of those type of there's just been a few that go into that category of games that they really just give away. So that's one side of the coin, but the other side of it is that was a really important win or a really important game, because if you win that game and then if you can win the makeup game that's coming up on Thursday, that's how you take the season series from the Diamondbacks, who are right next to you in the standings. Now the Diamondbacks, I had these flashes of us being through 162 games and the Cardinals and Diamondbacks having the exact same record, and that being the game that cost the Cardinals a playoff spot, which, maybe I'm being a little bit doom and gloom when I say that, but it was, that's a game that you got to win. That is a game that you have to win, and it's a bummer. And I think the good thing is, we haven't said that many times this year, where they lose games that they just absolutely had in hand. It has not happened that often. Every team deals with them, but it doesn't change the fact that is a game they absolutely should have won yesterday.
And Matt, I know you're not necessarily in the clubhouse immediately after the game because you're hosting the post-game show. But just from your experience with this team and with this manager, Ollie Marmol, how do they handle losses like this?
It's one of their best strengths that they can move on from these moments. Ali actually said in the postgame yesterday that there were already conversations that were being had in the clubhouse before the media was allowed in. So I have no doubt that this team is going to bounce back. Every single time they've hit adversity this year, they've had the ability to bounce back, and I would expect them to come out and play well against the Angels over the next few days. It never really feels like they get bogged down by a big moment, a big loss, a big negative thing happening. So that's a really good thing about this club. Again, that doesn't make yesterday feel any better, though, I think, for people listening.
No, that's a really tough one to take, because and again, I said this a moment ago, that you eventually we're going to get to a point where wins are at a premium. And I would always get this pushback when there was a bad loss from when I was doing these post-game shows. And I get pushback from fans whenever there'd be a game in June or something and they would blow it. And I'd say, hey, it's okay for now. It was never okay. But I'd say it's okay for now. And fans would always shoot back with, every game counts the same, which is true. The difference is, the later you get in the season, the less time you have to make up for bad losses. The good news is they have time, plenty of time, and they are right now in a wild card spot if the season comes to an end. But you do not want to have too many of those when you get to September, because then you'll look back on them and go, come on, man. If you just hold on to a win you're supposed to have, we're not even worried about this.
Yeah, the stakes go up as the season goes along. It's the same as if there's a big basketball game and some dude hits the game-winning shot as the time expires, that shot is not worth the same as the layup that was made in the first quarter.
Right.
It's different. So you're right. Games mean more as the season goes along, and wins mean more as the season goes along, and losses mean more as the season goes along as well. So is there time to make up for this? Yeah. One of my challenges with last night's game in the post-game show was not trying to whitewash the fact that is a terrible loss. There is nothing good to say about the team losing that game yesterday, but also presenting the fact that's not the end of the world at the same time. And sometimes it's hard to deal with both those things. And I don't want to come off as a ho hum. That's no big deal. That loss isn't it's just one of 162. That wasn't what I was trying to do, but it can be okay. They've got plenty of time to make up for it. It's just in the moment, man, oh man, does that loss hurt? And people were saying things like Jose Fermin's been a really, really good ball player for this team, and with the issues at third base, he has certainly helped out there. When the season got started and they didn't know what the outfield was going to look like, especially having some right-handed bats out there, he's done a nice job. He's been a really important part of this team. He made a terrible mistake yesterday. He tried to make a play on that ball, and it turns into an inside the park home run. That was a bad play by Jose Fermin. That doesn't mean that Jose Fermin needs to be a DFA. That doesn't mean he needs to be benched. That doesn't mean any of these things. So, and that was what I was hearing last night. Jose Fermin shouldn't even be on this team. He shouldn't even be on the flight to Anaheim. Well, that's crazy talk. He should be. He's been a really good player for this team who happened to make a terrible play yesterday. That was one of many things that happened that resulted in the loss. Brian Torres coming off of first base there in the 10th inning. That was a terrible moment for this team, and it might have cost them an opportunity to win this game. It might have cost them an opportunity to score a run in extra innings. That doesn't, get rid of the good things that Brian Torres has done for this team this year.
Matt, I know you're not in the business of prognosticating, and predictions only mean so much, but a month ago we were talking about the Cardinals. Man, would they hit 10 games over 500? I know, man, they just can't get there. Are they going to hit that? And they're 4-6 in their last 10. They're 500 at home, and they're currently 4 games over 500. Do you see them dropping down to 500 ball?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if that happens, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they go on a run and get closer to that 10 games over again. I'm not trying to not answer your question, Amy. I just don't know because this team, the margins are so thin for this team where they have to be doing so many things well almost every single night to win games.
Just can't do mistakes.
If they lose their edge at all, they're going to lose that game. So it's really hard to answer that question. So again, I'm not trying to run away from it. I'm not trying to talk out both sides of my mouth. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
But hasn't Ali used that exact phrase that they have to play perfect every night to win?
Yeah, close to perfect. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but yeah, I think that's the general point. That this team, most nights, this team is playing against teams that are as talented or more talented than them, so they have to do everything right to win games.
Well, tonight they will play in Anaheim against the Angels. It's going to be a late one, as you know, 8:15 for the pregame show. It's going to be a lot of you, too. You got Redbird Rush Hour at 5, and then Sports Open Line at 6, and that'll take you into the pregame show at 8:15. How about that?
It's ESPN's fault because tomorrow's game starts at 8:35 or 8:37 or something, but tonight's a national TV game on ESPN, so they pushed it back to 9:10. So ESPN is costing me sleep tonight.
I'm sorry, buddy.
I will say here's a positive note. St. Louis fans, St. Louis had the highest audience size for the All-Star game of any city in the nation.
That's good.
10.1% of the market watched
How about that?
This version of the All-Star game. Philadelphia, where the game was played, 9.2%. And in third place, Kansas City at 6.1%. So St. Louis was interested in the All-Star game.
Yeah, and they don't release those kind of numbers on the Home Run Derby because it was on Netflix. They did give a total number, but they don't do the breakdowns the way that I would suspect that's now when things are not on broadcast TV. So actually, St. Louis is one of the few markets that has some of the lowest penetration of streaming services into homes. But I would still bet that the St. Louis rating for the Home Run Derby was pretty good.
I would think so. I mean, this is a town that does love sports. I mean, the World Cup ratings here were really good. We weren't even a host city.
Our football ratings are always through the roof.
NFL, college football does really well in St. Louis.
Yeah, and it helped that St. Louis kind of picked up the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have been on the run. But even before the Rams were here, St. Louis had great football ratings.
Speaking of college football, Ahmad Hardy, the running back for Mizzou, he had been shot, and he's been medically cleared now. So, I mean, that happened several months ago. It was a really scary situation. So, seems like everything's good for him?
Yeah, that's really good news. And you get shot. I don't know what the timeline is on being able to come back from that. That's no clue. So the man was shot. First and foremost, he's still alive. That's the most important thing. And maybe the second or third most important thing is that he can still play football. And hopefully he has a really, really good year for Mizzou.
Matt Pauley, we appreciate you. Enjoy your long evening that's coming up.
Can I call you, Ranj, when the game wraps? You know what? Would you like to co-host the Extra Innings show with me tonight? We'll be getting on the air probably 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
That sounds, I can't think of anything I would like to do less.
Wow. Wow.
Well, Matt, don't take it personally. Whoa. Don't take it personally. We think he has cyclosporiasis.
Oh, yeah. I may have the cyclospora.
Not even joking, Matt.
Oh. That's not good.
I know. Man. So now how do you feel about that, huh?
Yeah, but I've been having the bubble guts.
No, don't. I told him not to eat Taco Bell.
I didn't. That's the thing is that I haven't had that in a long time. So I don't know
feel
where
so
it
bad
came
for
from.
this Taylor Farms. Nobody's ever heard of Taylor Farms in their life, and they're like,
but it's a huge farm.
Yeah,
they supply stuff to all over the country.
But they're fine. They say they're in the clear.
That's what they say.
Yeah, so let's start the investigation all over again. Find the origin.
Start in my colon. All right, we got to go. Hey, Matt, enjoy your long night. You can call me if you want. I might ignore it,
He'll be
though.
up. Just call him.
Might.
All right. Okay.
Send him a you up text.
Yeah, do that.
Yo, Paulie, this is with me. I'll call you back later. See ya.
5 o'clock. That's when Redbird Rush Hour happens. More Cardinals talk then. Sports Open line at 6. Pre-game show at 8:15 and 9:10 will be the first pitch from Anaheim. You know what? I don't mind Anaheim's ballpark. I've been there. I don't
the
mind
Los
it.
Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
I don't like where it is. I don't think the area is any good, but it's not like dangerous or anything. I'm just saying it's not. It's like but the ballpark itself, I think, is perfectly fine. Anyway, that's tonight, 9:10 first pitch, and you can listen right here on 104.1 FM KMOX. And you should know that with the big tournament over, well, there is still a way for you to get in on some action. Right now, baseball fans, with the MLB season well into the second half, you get a chance to call your shot with Daily Dingers. So it's easy. All you have to do is make your free pick on who's hitting a home run in their game. And if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. It's just another reason why FanDuel is the home of home runs. So if you're ready to play your game, now is the chance to do it. FanDuel.com/Missouri to get started. Again, the Cardinals tonight will be in Anaheim. Got a pick for tonight? Maybe Jordan Walker? Maybe not. FanDuel.com/Missouri to opt in for Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of MLB. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Get ready for a night back with legendary hits and non-stop energy. Bryan Adams is bringing the Roll with a Bunches tour to Enterprise Center Friday, July 24th.
Hello, this is Bryan Adams.
Sing along to the classics as Bryan Adams delivers an unforgettable night of rock anthems. Plus, special guests Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Bryan Adams, July 24th. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
You know, here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Lederman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. They're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Lederman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Lederman Law Firm at LedermanLaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Remember when we interviewed Michael Butler, the St. Louis City Recorder of Deeds?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, gosh, was it almost 2 years ago now? A year and a half ago? Well, there's a new St. Louis candidate for Recorder of Deeds. And as it turns out, it's Yolanda Yancey. She might be ineligible to be a candidate for Recorder of Deeds because she owes more than $5,000 in taxes herself. So the Recorder of Deeds, right, maintains permanent public records. It focuses a lot on property ownership and a lot on real estate. And what's interesting is that this lady owes over $2,000 in personal property taxes on her car, plus more than $3,000 in accumulated interest, penalties, and fees. I feel like that's not a great thing to have if you're running for office as Recorder of Deeds.
Okay. All right, so then let's play this out. Are you
And she
saying that if
also
she
owns-
has tax, she needs to pay taxes, that would somehow affect her job?
Yeah, I feel like if your job is to pay attention to real estate and personal property, and you owe unpaid taxes to your city for whom you are working in real estate and personal property, feels like a bit of a disconnect.
Well, what if she just doesn't have the money?
Well,
That doesn't mean that she can't account for money. She just doesn't have any herself.
well, then maybe she out-purchased herself then
Okay.
with her car and her house. It just feels like maybe don't do that.
Well, I know this much. I will storm the castle because I care a lot about who the Recorder of Deeds is.
I mean, it sounds like a pretty noble title.
It's-
Don't you feel like
of
you need
course
a
it-
horn section for it?
You know,
the
maybe.
Recorder of Deeds.
Yeah, maybe back there was a time when that mattered to people. Oh, that's the Recorder of Deeds. And I'm not
Yeah.
trying to undermine your job, Michael Butler, because I think you've been doing great. I mean, I would have no way to know if you're not.
Is he still the Recorder of Deeds?
I believe he is.
Yeah.
Recorder of Deeds and Vital Records.
That's important.
Yeah. Well, this doesn't mean that this candidate
Vital
doesn't
Records
know.
is a sick shop name for a vinyl store.
Would you even...
Let's go to Vital Records and pick up some albums.
What do you think the outcome would be if you meet somebody, you're out and about, and they
Mm-hmm.
say, what do you do? And you say, I am the Recorder of Deeds and Vital Records. Do you
Yeah.
think they would say, Oh, wow. Should we go back to your home now? You think it's what they would say?
I don't think so.
Your
Because they
place?
probably think that you're writing down all the stuff that people do.
Yeah.
I like the name Recorder of Deeds. To me, that's a more regal name than County Assessor, right? Because we've talked to the County Assessor.
I've taken an assessment of the county.
They should
and
call it the Assessor of the County.
I have taken an assessment of the county, and I'm just not impressed.
I just think you should call it the Assessor of the County, which gives it the same gravitas as Recorder of Deeds.
What do you think of this title?
I don't know.
White House correspondent and co-author of the Morning Shots newsletter for The Bulwark.
Sounds pretty important.
Not bad, right? Andrew Egger is that guy, and he'll join us when we come back on KMOX.
If you're having a major project done at your house, it can be a long process. It can be kind of tedious or frustrating. And hopefully, though, when it's all done, you can stand back and look and think, oh my gosh, this is an incredible improvement. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, though, if you choose the wrong company. That's why I'm telling you that if you're thinking about a major project in your outdoor space, even a minor project, call Chesterfield Fence and Deck, because Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. They only use the highest quality products. They have their own installation crews with years of experience. That is extremely important. And Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been around for 58 years, a quality company, and they offer value. They're not going to be your cheapest bid, but they're going to be the best, and it's going to last for years to come. So you can stand back and think, money well spent. They'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing if you mention me, Debbie Monterey. Stop by and visit them or visit them online right now at chesterfieldfence.com. Chesterfield Fence and Deck.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 11 o'clock. We have sunshine, a few clouds, 85 degrees already in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. Relief for some Americans who've been exposed to wildfire smoke. We get more from ABC's chief meteorologist, Ginger Z.
After days of haze, wildfire smoke is finally dissipating across much of the East Coast. But in the Great Lakes, air quality alerts are still up. Thick smoke even prompting some evacuations.
AccuWeather cites Chicago's air quality today as unhealthy. They say even healthy individuals may experience difficulty breathing and throat irritation with prolonged exposure. 17 U.S. service members have been killed in the Middle East since the start of President Trump's war with Iran. The latest casualty in Iraq, where the military says a service member was killed when an Iranian drone he was attempting to disarm exploded. 2 other Americans were killed by an Iranian airstrike in Jordan. Here's Here's ABC's Allison Cossack.
For the ninth consecutive night, the U.S. military has been launching strikes on Iranian targets, now singling out the Revolutionary Guard, which the U.S. says is responsible for targeting American troops. Iran striking back on U.S. bases in Kuwait, Jordan, and Bahrain. Videos circulating online appearing to show projectiles raining down on a U.S. base in Jordan.
With shipping traffic in the Strait of Hormuz largely stalled, oil prices have been rising. Regular gasoline in the U.S. climbing to an average of $4 a gallon. A big fan of Amendment 5 to eliminate the Missouri state income tax and replace it with higher and broader sales taxes is Attorney General Catherine Hanaway. On the Chris and Amy show, she was asked about the major fail Kansas had in doing this.
Kansas went into it all at once. And that's the thing that people should know, is that this is very gradual. It's only as we replace the income tax gradually that it goes away. And that's already been happening in Missouri. We just need to accelerate it.
Hanaway says we'd be more like Tennessee, which she says has grown by leaps and bounds, which she attributes to repealing the income tax. And she thinks young people would move back to Missouri if we did away with it. Critics of Amendment 5, which will be on the August 4th ballot, say ending the income tax benefits the wealthy while increasing sales taxes hurts the poor and struggling. Later this year, all intoxicating hemp products will be pulled off the shelves in Missouri under a law the governor signed earlier this year, but not if a group of hemp businesses have their way. They filed a federal lawsuit to stop the statewide ban, calling the definitions in the law of the difference between hemp and marijuana unconstitutionally vague. Craig Katz tells the Business Journal it's difficult to understand, and the people legislating it don't understand it. Katz is with the St. Louis-based MNG 2005, which is the parent company for CBD Kratom stores. The Attorney General has also been going after Kratom. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
We can't rule it a thunderstorm this afternoon. Otherwise, sunny to partly cloudy, hot and humid with a high of 95. Very humid tonight, warm with a few clouds and a low of 79. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now it is 85 degrees with sunshine and some clouds in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Why pay full insurance when you can customize and save? Switch to Liberty Mutual and they'll customize your auto and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
Every Monday, we talk to Andrew Egger. He is with The Bulwark. He is the White House correspondent and co-author of the Morning Shots newsletter, and you can subscribe to it. And we talk to Andrew today on the Quiver River Electric guest line on this Monday. How's it going, Andrew?
Hey, guys. I'm great. How are you?
Hey, we're doing okay. The World Cup is over, and I believe the president has just left the stage where Spain is celebrating. I think he finally came down from there.
Yes. I could not believe when I first saw the headlines with this clip, I genuinely had such a feeling of deja vu, and it is because it just happened last year. I don't know if you guys remember the Club World Cup, which Chelsea won, I guess it was last year, 2025, had the exact same thing happen. They did the presentation of the trophy, and Trump went up there, and then he just kind of lingered while they all celebrated and did all their pictures. I don't know what it is about this guy and soccer, but he is definitely, I guess, the football happiest American we've ever seen in the presidency.
I thought the most amusing part was Infantino, the head of FIFA, running over to him like to try and pull him off the stage. He just was like, nope.
The Guardian,
It was very funny.
I think, Andrew, if people can follow you on Twitter, and I think you're the one that retweeted the epic caption from a photo in The Guardian. And it's a picture of Gianni Infantino and Trump on the stage while the confetti's falling. And the caption is, Gianni Infantino carefully explains to Donald Trump that he is not part of the Spanish national team.
I do have to say that Infantino, that moment that you just described with him, that was such a amazing kind of visual masterclass in how a lot of the most powerful people in the world deal with Donald Trump right now, right? Because it is always this sort of push and pull, and it's always this sort of like, you got to be his best friend in the world, but he's doing a bunch of stuff that just seems insane right in front of you, and you're kind of trying to steer him, and you know this isn't the way it's supposed to go down, but it's not like you want to make a scene, and it's not like you want to get on his nerves, because it's really important that you not get on Donald Trump's nerves. And so just that little dance he was doing where he was like, oh, let me kind of steer you. Oh, you're not coming with me. Let me go back. Let me kind of tug on your sleeve a little. I mean, it was really, if people haven't seen that clip, it's really worth searching out to watch, because it's just really funny on the merits. But it also is, I mean, that's kind of the way everybody in the world is approaching this president right now.
All right, Andrew. It's hard to turn from that to more serious matters, but we shall. And as we mentioned when we welcomed you in, that you are the co-author of the Morning Shots newsletter for The Bulwark. Is there anything specific that you are working on right now?
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, as you guys know, I guess I've been on vacation a little bit. I'm kind of easing back into it. I was in St. Louis a couple weeks ago with you guys, but we definitely have our eye on what's going on in the war in Iran, which is going, really, it just appears to be back on, right? I mean, Iran has now said that it does not intend to consider itself bound by the memorandum of understanding that was signed a few weeks ago. Even that was only sort of like a short-term, let's make a deal kind of signing. And we're back to pummeling them. They're back to pummeling us. They're back to launching all kinds of strikes all over the region. They're back to killing American servicemen and women, which happened over the weekend as well, and it just seems like any kind of tentative and fragile movement toward peace, even under extraordinarily sort of pro-Iranian terms, as we have talked about with that memorandum of understanding, it just kind of a dead letter, and that's alarming for a lot of reasons. I mean, it's alarming for just the human reasons that we were just talking about. I mean, Americans are dying again in this conflict, but also just for all of the sort of global reasons that we have talked about so many times since this conflict began. I mean, when the president a month or so ago got up at the G7 in France and gave a big speech immediately on the heels of the signing of that memorandum of understanding, he made a pretty explicit case then that we had to strike some kind of deal with Iran, or we would see essentially economic calamity, right? That the Strait of Hormuz could not continue to remain closed. The world could not continue to get by on just sitting down, its strategic oil reserves all over the country in order to, avoid supply shocks and shortages of oil and gas, and that something had to change, and that was weeks ago now, and we're right back where we started. The Strait of Hormuz once again is sort of back to being closed. It appears that the current strategic objective of the United States is to basically now just find ways to stop Iran from even being able to control operationally the Strait. And we'll see how that goes. But that's kind of been their hope all along, right? And the problem is it's just such an unbelievably asymmetrical task where you can't really make Iran, if it doesn't want to, keep that strait safe enough that commercial vessels are going to want to go through it, because it just isn't that hard to launch some drone or send out some speedboat that's going to slam into the side of a vessel and blow up, right? So it's a real problem. We're right back in this same sort of headlock we've been in all along, and there's a lot of danger and a lot of fear out there over how this is all going to go.
Gas prices did dip for a little bit, but it has gone back up nationally to $4 a gallon. You've got this war that it was promised and it was campaigned on that he wouldn't be starting any wars, and especially with Iran. And so now this is going on several months. We are about 3.5 months away from a midterm. What do you suppose the real political cost of this is going to be?
Well, there is basically nothing that is as toxic to a party in power as inflation and rising prices, right? I mean, we have seen this over again. We certainly saw it under Joe Biden, where it was just the albatross that he could not get off of his back. You don't have to pay any attention to politics to see and feel and fear the rising of various costs. And this sort of thing, an energy shock that just sort of creates upward pressure on prices across the whole economy, it's hard to get out from under. And it comes on the heels of, a first year in office for the president that was also had upward pressure on inflation, in particular then, not due to this war, which hasn't started yet, but due to these various tariff regimes that he was putting in place all over the world. And so it's a dangerous thing. It's the kind of thing where, like, it is making people mad at you who would not otherwise be paying attention to you and who you struggle to reach. Because just because their prices are going up doesn't mean that they're going to start reading a lot of news and hearing a lot of what you have to say about why these prices are high and what we're doing to stop it and this and that and the other thing. In the wake of the pandemic, when we saw this inflation happening all around the world, they were kicking out the bums everywhere. Basically any incumbent who was left holding the bag of that post-pandemic economic recovery and the inflation that came along with it. It doesn't matter if you were a left-wing government in some country or a right-wing government in some country, you were probably getting replaced by the other one. And that is the kind of risk that Trump has now taken on for himself and for Republicans with this war in Iran. That, again, it seems crazy, but we are really back where we were in basically every way, with no end in sight, with one exception. Let me just add one other thing. There is actually one sense in which we're not back where we were, which is we've been shooting off all our missiles like there's no tomorrow, right? And this is not my reporting, but we've seen reporting now, of officials at the Pentagon who are getting a little worried about this kind of stuff. I was reading today in the Washington Post that as we are now apparently gearing back up toward something more like all-out war with Iran, well, we've been shooting off a lot of the stuff that we've got in terms of our over-the-horizon artillery that we have over there. So I don't really know what else to say about it other than that it's a dangerous situation, and it just doesn't seem like there's a lot of good options for anybody as far as getting out of it's concerned.
The president delivered a speech last week, and he reiterated in that the election in 2020 was rigged still, that there was fraud, massive fraud, and that was a central part of that speech he gave. And there have been people who have, in the days since, expressed some concern that maybe it's being used as a pretext to do who knows what when the midterms roll around in November. Are those concerns, are they grounded in reality, or are people being too dramatic about what this could mean?
I think it's a hard question to answer. And the reason it's a hard question to answer is because we don't know what all they will try, right? I think the big takeaway, the big lesson that we should all have in our minds from the outcome of the 2020 election, which Trump lost to Joe Biden, was that if there was a move he could make to hold on to power, he was pretty much going to make it. And he did many of them, all the way up until, famously, the January 6th attack on the Capitol. We're in this weird, uneasy situation now where they are holding their cards pretty close to the chest about a lot of the stuff that they intend to do. But some of it's right out there. Even just going by the stuff that we are already seeing out in public, it is really unprecedented in terms of the attempt by the federal government to use weird little regulatory authorities and find little loopholes here and there to strong-arm states into administering elections the way they want it. So one example of that we're seeing now is that last month, the Postal Service announced, in keeping with a Trump executive order from earlier this year, that if a given state wouldn't turn its voter rolls over to the federal government, which is a big point of contention, it's one of the things that Trump wants in this Save America Act that he's trying to get passed. But if states won't do that voluntarily, then the Postal Service just won't deliver mail-in ballots in those states, just as a rule, as a kind of across the board. So it's this sort of bank shot, like I say, executive policy maneuver to try to seize a really remarkable and unprecedented amount of control for the federal government over state level elections. And when you couple that with the fact that this is a guy who has actively tried to steal a presidential election for himself in the past, it's hard to put really anything past him in terms of stuff he might try to do. So you can understand why people are alarmed, concerned, apprehensive. At the same time, there do remain all these checks and balances in place. Some of them haven't been tested yet. Some of them have been tested and came through okay the last time in 2020. Some of those election officials have since been replaced when MAGA types got really concerned about election officials and trying to install loyalists at some of these lower level posts. So I hope I'm communicating, there's just a lot of uncertainty, there's a lot of anxiety, and it's not at all misplaced, I don't think, for people to be watching this stuff and worrying about this stuff. It was only 6 years ago that this guy tried to steal a presidential election right out in public the last time.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, because in real time, as the president was speaking, the documents that were provided didn't back up his claims. If anything, they contradicted it and showed cautious action as far as the intelligence community and bureaucratic steps to make sure that the conclusions that they came to were correct. It just showed due diligence. And what's interesting, though, is that when it comes to elections, Trump doesn't seem at all concerned with 2026 because it shouldn't necessarily concern him, considering this is his second term. But he's more still focused on 2020, he still wants that win, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think that is what you've just said there about the backward-looking focus. It's really important to Trump psychologically. I mean, there's almost nothing that is more core to his brand and the way he sort of presents himself to the world and pitches himself to his voters as being a winner, right? He's not a loser, he's a winner. And the idea that he would have lost to Joe Biden from the very beginning was always just sort of psychologically incomprehensible to him. That said, I don't think we should downplay the forward-looking stuff either. I mean, the way that he has dragged his party so far along with him on all of this stuff now, I mean, it is just an article of doctrine and belief among elected Republicans today that not only should Trump have won the 2020 election by having a couple more tens of thousands of votes here and there in a couple of swing states. But it has really become party orthodoxy that, as Trump says, he would have won Minnesota if the votes were accurately counted, that he would have won California if the votes were accurately counted. I mean, Trump says that if Jesus counted the votes, he'd win California. And this is something that we're seeing now spread to others as well. I mean, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, he has taken to saying that Democrats can only win elections if and when they cheat. And this is just becoming such a part of the discourse that the well is poisoned so high, right? Mm-hmm. It's not the kind of election fraud discourse that is focused on alleged examples of fraud. It's not look at this video of people allegedly, pulling fake ballots out from under a table at an election counting center in Fulton County, Georgia, or look at this crazy thing that was happening in Detroit. It's much more kind of simple, and it's much more just sort of a matter of doctrine. If a Democrat wins an election, it's because they cheated. And that is a thing that Trump has, even though he is backward looking, like you say, he has really pulled his entire party into a really remarkable place as far as these statements are concerned that we would have found kind of incomprehensible even in the aftermath of 2020.
And I'll say, as we say goodbye, also important to note, though, this goes back to 2016 when Trump accused Ted Cruz of stealing the Iowa caucuses in 2016. It's like anytime he loses, it's because somebody stole the election.
Andrew,
yeah, that's been true of him all along. What's different now is just that he's got the whole party saying it. You're absolutely right.
We appreciate you. We'll talk next Monday. How about that?
Thanks, guys. Always fun.
Thanks, Andrew.
Andrew Egger, White House correspondent for The Bulwark. His newsletter is called Morning Shots, and you should subscribe. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This summer, local events are happening all over the place, and i3 Broadband is a big part of it. At i3, we love being part of the neighborhood and are proud to support the events that make our communities great. We're also proud to deliver 100% fiber-to-home internet, recognized as Greater St. Louis's next-door neighborhood fave. We give you lightning-fast speeds and reliable performance. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 866-806-5485 to upgrade, because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run, because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
100 years, one legendary voice. We live KMOX's century of service, classic audio, photos, videos, and more at KMOX100.com.
So the World Cup is over. Unfortunately,
sad.
it is sad because I love that event. And the worst part about it is that it's every 4 years. You literally have to wait to come.
But we have
to
the
have it come back.
Olympics in between.
You know what? I have to be honest with you.
Don't say it.
It doesn't
Ranj.
do it. The Olympics does not do it for me in the way the World Cup does. It just doesn't. People. Well, I'll tell you why. People do not get as worked up over Olympic events as they do the World Cup.
You have the audacity to say that you don't think the luge draws as much passion as soccer.
That is correct. Nor does curling. Like, I do remember being out when, was it 2018 that the U.S. men had a really good curling run?
I'm not a curler.
I think it was-
can't get into curling.
Did they win the whole thing? I don't remember.
I don't
but
think
they were on a good run. So, because there was the guy that looked like Super Mario. So everybody was into it.
Mm-mm.
I think his name was Matt. And I remember being at a bar watching it and people were kind of into it, but it is not like the World Cup. It isn't the same atmosphere
But
at
it's
all.
kind of like parades. Like, I don't really want to go to the parade, but I love knowing the parade is happening. And that's how
The Olympics.
Well, kind of everything. I didn't watch every single World Cup game. I didn't have it on all the time. But even when I wasn't watching it, I liked knowing it was on.
Well, the other great thing about it is that you don't really have. Sometimes they overlap a little bit, but it's like everybody can focus on one game at a time. Because there's pretty much just one game happening at a time. And again, there's some overlap. Some games will start before the previous one finishes. But it's not like, well, there's this shooting competition going on over here, and then there's curling going on at the same time. We have to go back and forth. Here's cross-country
in LA,
skiing.
though, baby.
It is in LA.
Track and field. Anyway, go ahead.
But because of the World Cup and the popularity of it, we are able to measure how many new Instagram followers some of the World Cup athletes received.
Okay.
All right. So Lionel Messi was at, he's got a bunch of followers. He has a bunch of followers. Before the event, he had 506.5 million Instagram followers. He gained 7.5 million. So now he's at 514. Lamine Yamal, who is Spain's up-and-coming player, and they just won the whole thing. He was at 43 million, and he gained 11 million. Cristiano Ronaldo, he gained 11 million. He is at 677 million Instagram followers.
Can I put this in perspective real quick? You said Ronaldo, 677 million.
Yep.
To put it in perspective, Taylor Swift has 273.
That
puts it in perspective.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to know who there were two biggest gains of World Cup or of Instagram followers. The second to first was Vozina, who was the Cape Verde goaltender.
Mm-hmm.
He gained 29 million. Guess who gained the most? I know you're going to know.
Who?
It's Erling Haaland. He gained 32 million Instagram followers. So he almost doubled what he had previously.
That's impressive.
Isn't it? I love that. Hey, we're going to talk a little film when we come back because The Odyssey, it was released over the weekend, and film critic Richard Roper will join the show next. We'll talk to him. He talked to Christopher Nolan about a week or two ago, and so we'll get his thoughts on it, talk about the film industry, so on and so forth. But tonight, there is baseball. Cardinals are back at it. They will play in Anaheim. And if you think you know who's going to hit a home run today, and it doesn't have to be just in that game tonight in California, it can be anywhere around the country, FanDuel is giving you a free chance to call your shot with Daily Dingers. Joining the action is easy. All you have to do is make your free pick on who's going to hit a home run in their game. And if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. You got nothing to lose, a lot to gain. And don't forget, you can make a free pick every day during the season. Just another reason why FanDuel is the home for home runs. So if you're getting ready to play your game, go to FanDuel.com/Missouri. FanDuel.com/Missouri to play Daily Dingers and make your free pick on who's going to hit a home run tonight. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of MLB. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All Access with Ollie Marmol on the Gas House Gang.
I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group. This group fits my personality to a T. I love what we're doing. I love how we're going about it. I love the honest conversations. I love the grit. And there's been certain times where I've caught myself where bases are loaded, our back's up against the wall, and I can't help but smile. I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group.
Ollie Marmol, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
86 degrees, real feel temperature, 105. Couple that with the bad air quality from the Canadian wildfire smoke. Be careful out there, folks. Partly sunny and humid today, a high of 94. Tonight, partly cloudy, very humid, a low of 78. Weather sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows. Advance Glover right now. Buy 4 windows and get 4 for free and 48 months with 0% interest, same as cash. 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from Big Wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Get inside your Redbirds in the 2026 season every Tuesday at noon. It's All Access with Cardinals manager Ollie Marmol on your voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
After years of war, no one could stand between my men and home.
The Odyssey officially is out, and judging by what happened on Thursday, which was sort of the preview period, and that did really, really well that day. I know the expectation was it was going to have a huge opening weekend, and it sounds like it did. So to talk about that film with us, what has happened so far and what's to come, Richard Roeper, film critic and host of the podcast The Movie of Your Life with Richard Roeper, also contributed to RogerEbert.com. You may remember the show, Ebert and Roeper. And he has seen the film, obviously. He's got a lot of thoughts on it, and we are happy to talk to Richard today. How's it going, man?
Good to talk to you, my friend. How are you?
Doing really well, and it's good to hear from you. And I've got this thing where I've not seen it yet. I'm going to. But I have this thing where I'm trying to go in open-minded, but I feel like I'm already going to like it before it even happens. And I know that you have seen it, so what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's one of the best movies of the decade, not just of the year. I love this film. And yeah, listen, there's certain films going in, are probably going to be pretty good, right? It's filmed by Quentin Tarantino. It's a film by Steven Spielberg. It's a film by Christopher Nolan, who has an impeccable track record. Chris, what I love about this movie is, people hear Homer and the Odyssey, and they're like, oh my God, 2 hours and 52 minutes. Is this going to be like a homework assignment? And it's not like that at all. I mean, this is an R-rated, it's kind of like the original Avengers movie. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a guy trying to get back home. There's a possible revolution back home where the queen is going to get overthrown. There's a son looking for his father. There's a one-eyed giant. There's a goddess. There's demons. There's all kinds of great stuff happening. And Christopher Nolan knows 2 hours and 52 minutes actually goes flying by.
In your interview in the Chicago Sun-Times with Christopher Nolan, he talked about Oppenheimer, for example, a 700-page historical document, and, quote, finding the movie in it. Well, he also had to do that with the Odyssey. Did he talk about how difficult it was, or how natural it was to find the movie in the Odyssey?
That's a great question because, the movie Troy 20 years ago, Nolan was briefly attached to that. And he told me, he goes, I wasn't ready to make that movie yet. And this is, of course, a different part of the story. But he felt he had to get to a certain point in his life. Christopher Nolan himself is now middle-aged and is married, just like Odysseus. And he told me he looked at the text and he started thinking, like, how can I turn this into a movie? What are the visuals I'm going to use? And it was interesting because he talked about the same thing, even making the Batman movies. You're making them for people who know every single thing about the comic books. And then you're making it for the larger audience that maybe barely knows just the basic story of Batman or Oppenheimer, or in this case, the Odyssey. So Chris Nolan told me that his audience for his films is really him. He starts off by saying, would I want to see this movie myself? And then goes from there.
Richard Roper is with us here on KMOX, and I texted you this question over the weekend, and I think a lot of people have this, and I know that you have addressed this before on your social media, but there are all these different formats. There's the 70 millimeter IMAX, which is supposed to be the optimal way to see it. Then there's regular 70 millimeter. Then there's regular IMAX. There's all these different versions. What would you suggest people do? Because there are only something like 50 of the IMAX 70 millimeter screens in the whole country.
Yeah, Chris, that's a great question. I don't want people to get too worried about, and it is amazing. I had the privilege of seeing it in New York at the Lincoln Square IMAX, which is like 6 stories high, and it was incredible. But Christopher Nolan is also, he's very pragmatic about these things. He wants you to see the movie. So even when he's shooting in the true IMAX format with true IMAX cameras, he's making a movie that if you see it on any screen, the laser projection, the true 70 millimeter, the 70 millimeter film, all of the different ways, you're still going to get the experience of the movie. There may be some little corners of the screen that aren't going to show up in certain aspect ratios. The sound may not be as great, but it's still going to be better than almost any other movie out there. So I don't want people to think, oh my God, am I cheating on this film? Am I not doing it the right way if I just see it in quote unquote a regular theater? Because that's simply not the case. Just don't watch it on your iPhone in a year, okay? If I see you on an airplane watching the Odyssey with your iPhone, they're probably going to have to get the wrist ties out to restrain me.
I don't want to harp on it because I feel like we're getting into the weeds, but just for laymen, when I think of IMAX, like I think of the long rectangular screen, but with this one, we're saying it's more square. It's taller. That's how it was shot, not to be seen on the long horizontal screen, but on a screen that's a little bit more of a square aspect ratio. Is that correct?
Correct. And it fills up the entire screen because this is the first movie made entirely with the IMAX cameras, which are these huge things that make these tremendously loud noises, and he figured out a way to mute the noises. But if people remember the famous bank robbery scene in The Dark Knight that was shot in Chicago, that entire bank robbery scene was shot with IMAX cameras, but the rest of the film was not because the technology wasn't really there yet. So again, yes, this is the first time where the entire movie is shot for that giant screen, but you're not really missing anything in the different aspect ratios. And you're right. The thing is, it's really cool to talk about this stuff. And if you guys can look, there's stuff on YouTube and various places where they show the process of bringing in these giant rolls of film and how it works and the technicians and everything. But this is also really a cool movie with Matt Damon and Tom Holland and Zendaya and Robert Pattinson and Charlize Theron. It's a badass movie with great acting performances. I mentioned the R rating because it reminded me in some ways of Gladiator. Mm-hmm. So this is not, this is not when you were a kid and you went on a field trip and you went to the IMAX screen and they did like a 5-minute movie where they showed like fire and ice and mountains. This is a movie.
Richard, I was actually talking with our producer, Matt, about this. You mentioned all the A-listers. Every single one of those names, plus there are twice as many that could be the lead in any movie on their own, but they're all here. And I was initially worried, would I get too caught up in it? Would their star power somehow pull me out of the plot? I know our producer was worried about that too, and he said he didn't feel that at all. Like, you got sucked into the plot and you weren't so conscious of the stars. When I watch Ocean's 11, I love Ocean's 11, but I'm very conscious that I'm watching Brad Pitt and George Clooney. Did you fear that might happen with this movie?
That's perfectly said, because Ocean's 11, those movies are movie star movies. We're supposed to celebrate the movie stars and in relatively light. In this case, yeah, there's some concern. And, you say, okay, Matt Damon, but what Chris Nolan told me too is he's like, Odysseus isn't necessarily the most likable character. He's this cunning manipulator, selfish at a lot of times. But Matt Damon, we like so much as a persona, that actually helps sell it. And again, when we talk about Charlize Theron, that's an Oscar winner, or Lupita Nyong'o, John Bernthal, John Leguizamo, who's almost unrecognizable. They're all very well known, and they've all done a lot of great work. Anne Hathaway, but they are actors. He casts actors in some cases who are movie stars. He never casts movie stars who aren't necessarily great actors. So we do buy them. But yeah, I think that's a legitimate concern, because it looks like those old movies back in the day where they'd have the star-studded cast and it would list half of Hollywood, and it would just become about the star power. But here, I think it's about the story and the actors who take the roles. A lot of times, it's only 5 or 6 minutes of screen time, but they'll do it because they want to be in a Christopher Nolan movie.
Richard Roper is with us on KMOX, and as I said, the opening weekend expected to be a pretty big success, and by all indications, it was, right?
Huge success, made over $250 million worldwide. It's already made its money back, guys. Here's the other thing interesting about Chris Nolan. He takes on these giant projects, and you hear about movies that drag on for, a year and a half. He was given 100 days by the studio, basically. Here's your budget, and here's a 100-day shooting schedule. He finished it in 91 days. Yeah. He's very quick. He moves from one scene to the next. Everybody has to come to play, and he loves moving from location to location. They filmed in 6 different countries because it keeps the actors fresh. They're not seeing the same scenery every day. They're not conquering the same terrain every day. But it's a huge box office hit. And I love the fact that movie fans, people say, do people go to movies anymore? Yeah, they do. If there's something like this that's an event movie, 3 a.m. showings all around the world, I love seeing that.
How often does that happen where, first of all, you're right, when you're talking about the filming of a big blockbuster and we know about it ahead of time, it does always seem like, and I'm a novice at this, but it seems like, it's like 10 months or 11 months or a year that they are working on this movie and filming it. Mm-hmm. But to get it done in less than 100 days, how typical is that, especially for something of this size?
You know who was famous for doing that was Clint Eastwood. He was just, let's get the shot, let's go. And Chris Nolan sees the movie in his mind and blocks it all out. And the other thing is, the various actors you see in this, Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway were there for almost all of the shooting. But a lot of the other actors come in for a week or two. So it's like, in the World Cup when they bring in that fresh player off the bench. Yeah. So it's somebody who's new to the production. It kind of gets everybody infused with energy again, and they're ready to go. And when you're on that set, there's no time for diva behavior or I don't know my lines or any of that nonsense. It's a pretty rare and special thing, though, to bring a movie like this in actually, under the allotted time.
With this movie, there were no green screens. And so Nolan used, as you mentioned, they had to go on a journey themselves to all these different locations, and they were facing real world elements and extreme weather and so forth. How unusual is that for a movie of this size to make that commitment to just use real world elements instead of green screens?
It's very rare, and they lean into it. In some cases, if the weather was particularly terrible, where other directors might say, well, maybe we should shoot an indoor scene. Let's get out there on the water. Let's get wet. Let's get cold. And again, though, he also has a team, everybody from his cinematographer to a lot of the technical people, the production design. A lot of the same people have worked with Chris Nolan on movies for 20 years now. So they know how it works. They know that come to play as well. So it's this big, huge team thing. He said to me at one point in the interview, he goes, it's kind of hard to describe what the director does. He goes, I don't act. I'm not operating the camera. I'm not the guy with the sound boom. He goes, I'm kind of, again, the audience on the set saying, what do I want to see? He's underplaying what he could do because he could do all of those things. And he wrote the adaptation here as well. But I think a lot of it is that he puts together this team that he can rely on.
You were talking about how people will go to the movie theater if if it's a good project and if it's something people are excited about. And I'm really interested in the entertainment business in general, film and TV, because of, streaming is a thing. I know post-pandemic for a while, it was difficult for theaters to compete, and that started to rebound too. And then you've got these mergers that are potentially happening, the Paramount and the Netflix and, Warner Brothers and all this. It's very confusing for a lot of people. So where do you see the industry at large going over the next several years?
Yeah, Chris, the reality is it's not the same as it was before the pandemic, or certainly when I started, reviewing movies way back in the day in the 90s and the 2000s. Even then, you'd have a theatrical release and it'd be a year, at least 6 months before something came to home video. And that has changed, with the exception of something like The Odyssey, which is going to have a long theatrical run. And I think that's okay. There's also certain movies that would never get made if Apple TV or Netflix or somebody else doesn't put up the money. So there's still the theater going experience. We've got the Spider-Man Brand New Day is coming out next week, and that's a huge event. And I always tell parents this too, if they've got kids who are adolescents or teenagers. I go, your kids, they want to go to the movies. They also want to get away from you. That's the key. That's the first thing kids can do kind of on their own, where you can drop them off at the theater and pick them up in 2 hours, and where they're at, that, that we're going to be, God forbid anything happen, they're going to be in a relatively, safe environment. It's still a great social experience. You look at a movie like Obsession, which was made for about 1/100th of what The Odyssey was made, and because of word of mouth and internet and young people, it became a theatrical thing. So there's certain movies. There's the superhero movies, the event movies, horror movies, and comedies that play so well in theaters. I still think it's okay, too, if people say to me, well, I can't go to all these movies at theaters. It costs a fortune to take the kids or to get a babysitter or, buy the concessions. I'm going to wait for it to come out. That's fine, too. People have lives and they need to, be responsible about this. So I'm not one of these people who say, oh my God, doom and gloom, streaming is ruining the movie industry. The movie industry just has to learn to adapt.
All right. I don't know. This might be a question that you hate as a movie critic, but having seen The Odyssey, what element did you just personally really appreciate? Or, what, it could be anything from the score to how it was done to anything. Was there, just you, not as a critic, but just as a guy going to the movies, what did you most enjoy or appreciate?
Oh, that's a great question. And you mentioned the score, and it is incredible because, again, you're looking at something that is not the most accessible material in this epic poem, but the music is different and unique. Same composer that Chris has used for other movies, who's fantastic. And the other thing I loved was these. You mentioned earlier the cast, and sometimes in a movie like this, if John Bernthal all of a sudden shows up, he takes you out of the movie, right? And he doesn't. And there's a sequence, for those of us who've seen it, we won't give too much away, but this great actress named Samantha Morton welcomes Odysseus and his warriors to her, place where she's got all this wonderful food for them and welcomes them. And then something really crazy happens, and it's terrifying and it's weird and it's creepy. And Samantha Morton has one scene in the movie, and she's going to get nominated for Best Supporting Actress. She's that good in that scene.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I am so excited, and I think I'm going to do it this week. And I guess I'm going to go do the 70 millimeter. I think I'll go do that. I think we have plenty of those here in the area.
And that it looks beautiful in the 70 millimeter. It really does.
Richard Roeper, as always, it's awesome to talk film with you. Thanks for being with us, and we appreciate it.
Anytime. I always love talking to you guys. Take care now.
Richard Roeper, film critic. You can catch his podcast, The Movie of Your Life, with Richard Roeper, contributor to RogerEbert.com. You can read him in the Sun-Times as well. So The Odyssey is out. I'm going to have my own Odyssey going to see this movie. Can't wait. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
For state senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering knows what a hard day's work looks like because he's done it his whole life.
I like Mike. He's a dad. He knows what our families are up against.
Mike Deering's a businessman. He knows what red tape actually costs.
I like Mike because Mike Deering stands with President Trump. Secure the border, cut our taxes, put Missouri first.
I'm Mike Deering. Career politicians spend more and tax more while your family gets squeezed. I'll lower your taxes, keep your money in your pockets, and cut government waste so deep it'll make the politicians squeal.
Mike Deering, farmer, small business owner, dad, conservative. I like Mike.
I like Mike.
I like Mike. For state senate, I like Mike. Mike Deering. On Tuesday, August 4th, vote Republican Mike Deering for state senate. Make common sense conservative leadership common again. Paid for by friends of Mike Deering. Megan Kaiser, treasurer.
The soundtrack of classic rock is coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater August 6th. Leonard Skinner and Foreigner joining forces for one epic night of legendary hits and unforgettable memories. It's the Double Trouble, Double Vision Tour. From Sweet Home Alabama to Cold as Ice. Don't miss your chance to experience these two Rock and Roll Hall of Fame acts in one incredible show. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
This year, America celebrates 250 years. 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost covered the 3 key pillars of retirement planning: income, risk, and your tax strategy. Join us for Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement, every Saturday at 3 p.m. right here on KMOX.
I'm fixing to tell you something that the insurance industry does not want you to ever hear. Bullies often delay and deny. I see them sitting on premiums paid and making money and dragging it out for as long as they can. Many times, we're forced to take them to court. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Their high-paid lobbyists are on a mission to make sure that at trial, jurors are not allowed to learn that the at-fault party has insurance, and in some cases, lots of it. I can think of no case in all my years where there was no insurance for the at-fault party. So let's fight back. It's all these bullies understand. Tell everybody you know the truth. If you've been injured in a car crash or hurt at a store or business, visit forthepeople.com. We're here 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Marksgors, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Listen, folks, don't eat the lettuce. Do not eat lettuce or berries or cilantro right now because it is not worth the risk.
We still don't know.
We don't know. Listen, I'm not saying this with any authority at all, and you guys should never listen to me because I disagree with myself all the time. I'm just saying, having spoken now to my co-host about maybe even what light Cyclospora.
I don't think I have. I think it's just I think it's just the standard.
What a coincidence.
I think it's the standard bubble guts.
You know what? You're like that guy during the midst of the COVID pandemic who's like, it's not COVID, it's just a cough, it's just allergies. Okay, buddy.
And then everybody at the office dies because of him.
Yeah, like I think if you have the bubble gut in the middle of cyclosporiasis outbreak and you have eaten berries,
it's yeah.
You are a victim.
I'm a victim.
But it's light because it says you can be asymptomatic or you can have a light version of it. I think you've got a light version of it.
Well,
go get tested for fun.
I'm not going to get tested for it.
Just do it.
Nah, I'm going to self-diagnose this one. I can't spread it to anybody.
So can you sit through a 3-hour movie?
That's what I was. I was just looking at show times for the Odyssey, and I was like, I don't know if this is a good idea tonight, but I was thinking about it. All right, have a great day. Rest of your day. Hopefully, no scoots for you. We'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. And if you missed anything, you know where to get it. The Odyssey app, KMOX.com, or wherever you get your podcasts. All the segments are there for you. See you tomorrow. Gas House Gang is next.
I was like, I grabbed my throat and I realized it's too late and I'm not going to make myself throw up because that's dramatic.
That's
also.
way dramatic.